Welcome, everybody, to episode number 56 of the Dragon's Den podcast. We are live and on the air here tonight. My name is Eric Hopkins, a.k.a. Joe, and I'm joined tonight by Miranda Nicole and Chocolate Thunder himself, Brendan, on the bottom.
Shit,
Good to see you guys.
I forgot to change that.
Oh, didn't realize it was name. But so yeah, we're live tonight. No Matthew tonight. He is traveling with his wife out of town to Tennessee this weekend. So wish them safe travels and everything. Hopefully everything goes well down there. What's that?
That's where he's at.
Yeah. And well, maybe we'll see Aaron or the Faceless Dragon here a little bit later on too. We'll have to wait and see. But we're happy to be here and happy to have you guys joining us as well. How are you two doing? I haven't talked to you guys. Well, I talked to Brandon a little earlier. What you guys been up to?
Not much. We survived the heat.
Yeah. It is raining a little bit here to kind of cool things off just a little bit. But all I know is I'm looking forward to killing both y'all and Duck Goose or whatever tomorrow. So Goose
Look,
Duck. I don't even know what the name of the game is.
I told Brandon I'm not playing.
Yes, you are.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
She's lying. As I told her, I said, outside of like me, maybe Ty and the Irish lads, everybody else is new. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna die, and I'm gonna be the one to do it and lie about it. But that's neither here nor there.
That's part of the game, though. So
what I'm curious to see is if one of you two and even Aaron gets to be the killer, how you play it off and try to lie your way out of the situation. Aaron can't lie. And he's
no, he cannot.
I'm not a very good liar, but I try not to practice doing it, but at the same time,
Brandon, on the other hand, is a lying fool.
Hey, when you're good, you're good.
You a little shady there, Chocolate Thunder?
Hey, listen, we all have a past.
Yeah, if you live with them long enough, you'd understand, Eric, but you fall for it all the time. So
yeah, Eric, I was gonna say, like, dude,
wait a minute, wait.
You know how
you mean to tell me that our entire relationship has been built on mistrust and lies and deception all this time? So what do I really know about you?
Did you get that text I sent you?
No, it's probably a lie anyway.
Where it talks about being friends or no, me liking you.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
But I still didn't think that you were lying the whole time. I figured you were at least telling a shred of decency and truth.
Half truths.
Half? Not even. It's more like a quarter.
Yeah. Not you giving it too much on that.
Yeah, dang. You're right, man. What do I really know about you, Miranda? You need to tell me who this man really is. I'm just saying.
Well,
listen,
we'll have a chat.
Okay.
At least like they're fun when I do it. You know what I mean? Like I have deceived quite a few people, especially at work, and then like to have them believe me and then have to verify or they say something to somebody else when that person knows damn well I'm lying is even funnier because now it's
happened to me all the time.
You know, people had to go to Miranda and be like, "Hey, real quick," and she would say, "Stop listening to him."
Yeah, just stop. I mean, sometimes I can pick out some of your BS, but there are other times I think you've got me. Not as much as maybe you've gotten Matt or something.
That's because that's an easy target.
Yeah, fair.
It's no fun with Matt because it's like, all right, now I just feel bad. Mm-hmm. Nate is a good one to try to get, but Nate sees through my shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And I can tell, like, he'll look at me like, I want to believe you, but I know damn well it's and then what he does is go, I'll just have to ask Miranda. I'll be like, all right, Nate.
Yeah, he knows where to find the truth, at least.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, let me go ask Miranda. I'm like, all right.
Mike in the chat, he's joining us this evening. Good to see you, Mike. Not saying I've ever told a fib. I've never told a fib, but I'm still way too honest to. Hold on, let me try this again. Not saying I have never told a fib, but I'm still way too honest. I'd never make it as a politician. There we go. I got it out. Me neither.
The thing. I don't think, even though like I'm good at this part, but like at the same time, I'm too blunt. Yeah. So it wouldn't work for me either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
the problem with a politician. Mm-hmm. They're either paid to peddle the lies, or they're so brainwashed they don't know they're lying.
Yeah.
Or they're just doing it intentionally.
So, Mike, you don't have to be a good liar to be a politician. You just got to know which one you want more.
And I think bluntness actually works for a guy like Donald Trump because, and you know, a lot of people don't like his bluntness, but I think a lot of times it's more often.
But I think that's what you want out of a person like that. You want them to be blunt. Like I hate this. That's what I hate about lawyers. I hate the what do you call it? The lawyer speech. I hate the talking around shit. Just fucking say it. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't need all this mumbo jumbo. Just
this political theater here and there. Just
I hate that part. Just
which is why I do, and we're getting to politics later. We're not going to make it all politics up front here, but that's one of the reasons I actually really like Donald Trump, like I said, because he's not a politician. He just come in. He says the blunt truth and bold truth that most politicians are unwilling to say. You know, and I think that's why he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. That's why they hate him.
I listened to a girl. I can't even tell you. It was about the princess that Trump just saw, I think. But she said this woman was so smart, business smart, just intelligent. And that's what we need, like intelligence.
Yeah.
Make common intelligence common. Like, yeah.
Yeah, make common sense common again. I agree. We used to say around work, common sense is so rare. It's what? A superpower. And that is the truth nowadays. So, yeah. Mike said in the chat, Eric is an okay liar as long as he doesn't tell one before he goes to a Jeff Dunham show and gets busted. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Okay. All right. Okay. The story is I was seeing a girl that me and Mike, I won't say her name because I want to out her here, but me and Mike ended up dating the same woman. I dated her first.
Oh, I remember.
Mike dated the girl after me, and she kind of, and I'll flat out admit I had interest. Okay, the second time, and I was trying to keep it from people from work because I knew if they found out I was going to get seriously ribbed. You right, you know. So, you know, and I for the most part I did okay until I took her to a Jeff Dunham concert or a show in Louisville, Kentucky, and one of the guys we worked with, Solace, and immediately told everybody that I was trying to keep it on the down low. That's the long and short of it. But yeah, so that Nate saw me and her walking at her old apartment at one time during the NFL draft. And he knew it had to be important if I was missing the NFL draft. So he wasn't wrong, but I apologize today for that. I shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Moving on. Not my finest moment. But yeah.
No, me and Miranda kind of had this conversation earlier. Kind of like this, like to say we lied is one thing. I think we lied to people we worked with. And that's where the whole Brian thing came about.
Yeah.
And but we did.
There's a nosy. I was being stalked by one of them.
That's why, but that's why it was such a secret when we first started, seeing each other, because it was like there's this crazy person that we worked with who was super infatuated with her, and like it was weird. So we lied there. I think sometimes a lie is necessary. You know what I mean? And I get it in the aspect of like your friends want you to learn a lesson, and they think you've learned that lesson from somebody they think you shouldn't be with. But then I understand you in the same aspect of like, I don't want to deal with all the bullshit from y'all, so like let's just keep this quiet. But then you get outed, and that's kind of fucking it for you.
True too.
Yeah, because once you know the truth that I'm trying to keep from you, like the only reason I'm going to keep the truth from somebody is because I know it's going to hurt their feelings. Brandon knows this.
That's the only time I ever tried to do it. Yeah,
and I'm about to go hurt Loki's feelings. But
you puppy.
If the truth hurts, I'm sorry, but wouldn't you rather know the truth?
Yeah. See, I would rather be told the truth, even if it hurts my feelings. I really would.
Yeah.
Because to me, it tells me you respect me enough to give it to me straight, than to, give it to me just because it would, make me feel good or tickle my ears, as the old expression goes.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just be straightforward. I think that's why I come off the way that I do, is because like I'm not beating around the bush. Like I'm just gonna tell you, like it is what it is. I'm more upfront than anything. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If you're my friend, well, again, you're not. But like you get what I'm saying. If I associate myself with you,
but here's the thing: we all know the truth.
No, you don't. You did. That's a lie.
No. We know. You wouldn't even be here right now. Don't lie. You're lying now.
You wanted to shed a tear for Bob's dog yesterday.
I did. That's because I genuinely like Bob. Scared of the dog. Yeah, fucking Sherman who passed away.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
No.
I talked to Bob yesterday. Bob. And he was like, "Man, that's shitty." Even though that dog terrified me, that is still shitty.
What kind of dog was it?
He was. Oh my god, you have to ask. And Bob's told me
he
like 1,000 times.
Okay, so like think of a German Shepherd, but he was a military dog.
Yeah,
like that kind of breed, but not a shepherd. Higher on
fucking trained.
Definitely not one to mess with. I'm sure.
No, Sherman was a legit. When you think of a guard dog, he was that in every sense of the fucking word. Like,
he had to lock him up when anybody was at the house.
So like that's the kind of loyalty out of a pet that you want. And when you get that kind of loyalty out of a pet and they pass on, that shit sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and that's the thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're just a pet." Yeah, but that's the thing. If you've never owned a pet, you don't understand. I mean, everybody wants to say they're fur babies, and some people that is absolutely true. I mean, you get an attachment. And those animals are there for you when sometimes nobody else is. Yeah. So it is a real thing. So no, I totally get it. And everybody's like, "Well," I'm like, "Yeah, but if you are around those pets enough, you realize they have a soul. They have."
They become part of your family. Like I said, we said plenty of times before. I mean, you met Petey. Granted, you didn't get to meet him in his rambunctious days, but like Petey was a hellraiser. You know what I mean? And then to watch him get old, but he watched all 3 children be born. He was a part of all 3 children's lives until his came to an end, and it sucked so hard, like when that happened. Because it was like, Petey was always there. No matter what, he was just there. Whether he was laying at the end of the bed or his spot in the living room, he was there. That was like the one thing you knew for a fact, Petey was going to be there.
As a mother, it broke my heart because Jaden was just... Yeah. I've been there. That was his first dog.
Yeah, it's definitely on kids for sure. And well, even adults, man.
Yeah, but like Jaden, this was Jaden's first, real
experience with loss.
This is gonna sound like sibling in the sense, but it was like him and Petey were attached at the fucking hip. Like when Jaden was outside, Petey was outside. When Jaden was in
now it's like that with Oscar and Loki and Ray.
Like
and I mean, it's great to have that attachment, just like with any deep relationship in life. I mean, but it also sucks when it comes sadly to an end, which is the way of life is too. Going back to the lion stuff a little bit, get off this heavier topic. Well, maybe another heavy topic. Well, we're gonna roll into another one potentially. Mike said, "Can I ask a serious hypothetical question? In all seriousness, if you had a friend that you knew their significant other, who you were also good friends with, is being unfaithful, would you tell them or not tell them for fear they won't believe you or maybe even hate you?" That is a tough one.
But that's also one of those, I'd rather you fucking tell me.
But then at the same time, there becomes and
the cheater's going to have a talk, and you're either going to tell them or I'm going to stay out of it.
That would probably be I would rather do it that first than be the one to actually break the news, because there's the kind of like, is it your place to do so? But at the same time, you can argue that, I would rather be told. So that's tough.
The whole "isn't your place to do so" thing. If you're friends with both, doesn't matter which one came first in this instance, right? You develop a relationship with both of these. If they've put you in situations or in moments in their relationship, they've involved you in their relationship, whether it be coming to you for advice or questions, whatever the case may be, right? You are already involved in their relationship. So no matter what that and you don't say anything, and then the person finds out or the other person tells them, but then they tell them that they told you, they're still mad at you because you didn't say anything. If you do say something, they're
gotta get the dog.
The one that told you will probably be mad at you because you said something. But at the same time, are you mad at me because I said something, or are you mad at me because you now have to end this thing? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're just now hurt,
it's one of those pick your poison. It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. But for me personally, just say it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more painful that I find out that you knew and you didn't say anything, but yet here you are still hanging out with me and stuff like that, and you never brought it up. But also, I understand the fact that like some people will get mad, and that's a short-term thing though. If they're mad at you because you said something, and now that relationship's over or wherever the case may be, but in the long run, eventually they'll come around and might thank you for the fact that you did something.
I would thank the person in the long run. So you just gotta understand if you say something, they get mad at you. You gotta understand it's not most likely they're mad at you. They're mad at the situation.
It's the emotion and all that. Yeah.
He said his ex cheated on him. His friends knew, didn't get told, but were given subtle warnings. Caused me a lot of trust issues. I mean, and that's the thing. And I'm sure it was one of those things too, where your friends probably didn't, and they just didn't want to hurt you. But at the same time, in a way, it's almost like by not telling me, it would hurt me more to some respects. So I totally get it from both sides. Because if I was on the friend's side of it, I'd be afraid of hurting the guy or girl or whatever, and then them not liking me because I broke the news. So it's not easy. But I think at the end of the day, truth is best, though. I really do.
Yeah, it's also too if you got to know that friend, and at the same time, like say, okay, let's just say hypothetically here, you knew of a situation right with a friend, but like you and the girl or the boyfriend, whatever the case may be, you weren't as close to them as you are to them, right? Some say like you didn't really get along, but you tolerated each other's existence for the sake of whatever, okay? And then you found out. And then you tell the friend, they could simply say, make it feel like, well, you're only saying this because you don't actually like them and you don't want us to be together anyway. Look, in that case, it's like, look, as your friend, I'm telling you, this is this. Whether you choose to believe me is up to you. But just know that, like, I said something because I care about you. Now, they'll be mad at you. And then if they find out, then it's one of those, like, I'm glad you told me, you were right, whatever. But, like, in the initial, they'll probably be pissed at you. But at the same time, more grateful later on that you actually said something. So I think I would say something in that aspect.
Well, and to me too, he said something in this chat, said he was given subtle warnings. To me, it's like, no. Either say it or don't. I would not hint around, because that's
because now it just makes like you see me making fun of me behind my back, like you're mocking me.
Or or it can be taken that way for sure. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope you're not dealing with that situation now currently, but if you are, we'll pray for you, because that's not an easy place to go for sure, no doubt about it. But hell no. And to be honest, I've been there too. I've been on the friend knowing side of things, so I've been there. I've never been the one with it happened to me or anything yet, thank God. But I've been there where you've had to make a call, and it's just So, and luckily for me, by the time I got a chance to say anything, it ended up kind of being over. So it's not like I really, but I didn't know for very long. Let's put it that way. But so anyway, Mike said not going through it now though, thankfully. So that's good. So that's good.
That's good.
All right, so that'll do it for therapy sessions here on the Dragon's Den podcast. If we're going to start doing that, we got to start charging, psychiatric fees for this shit. The doctor is in, as Lucy once put it on the Peanuts. So for sure. But anyway, all right. So I thought we'd have a little fun here, and hopefully Miranda will come back to see this part here. But I thought we'd talk a little bit to start the show anyway before we get into our normal topics of pro wrestling, movies, and of course news and politics. No sports really tonight because we're kind of in that crazy lull for about a month when there's like no baseball, no basketball, no football. Well, I'm sorry, baseball still thing. No hockey, no basketball, no football until about a month from now. So we'll get back into sports when we have some more relevant things to discuss.
Though, speaking of baseball, me and Miranda, the last 2 days, have watched the Savannah Bananas play banana ball. It's baseball. There's how do I explain?
Hold on real quick. Just update. It was a big old deer in the backyard that he was barking at.
Oh, nice. Has some good jerky.
Yeah. It was. These games are very entertaining. They're very fan interactive. It's really cool to watch and see. but it's still a baseball game at the end of the day. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. Does that make sense? Like,
Oh, okay.
they have, but they will be having a 6-team, basically their own league next year, starting next year. But we were just watching. We watched like 2 games yesterday, or one yesterday and one today, and they're entertaining as hell. But it's still they actually play baseball, but like they do all these fancy catches. They have all these little mini games they do with the kids. We watched the sheet race yesterday. Hilarious, by the way.
It reminds me of like micro wrestling in that aspect, if you think of it, because I mean they're baseball players and they're not midgets, but it's just not as many people.
Okay. Well, it's like whenever I used to watch the Globetrotters, I always felt bad for the team who was playing the Globetrotters. Just like these poor guys. Yeah. You know, and some of it, I'm sure, to some degree, was maybe staged to some degree, is the way I always looked at it. But if they were actually playing those teams, boy, they make them look silly. You know,
this isn't like that. This isn't like that. Both teams are out having a good time, but it has the same feel of a Globetrotters thing, where it's a lot of fan interaction and shit like that. The umpire was dancing. It was hilarious. Like, I'll have to show you.
Yeah, send me a link or something.
Miranda watched a guy come up to bat and run a base, mind you, in stilts.
Oh man, that'd be hard.
It was.
Hope he didn't trip over a base, because
now he was hauling ass though.
Yeah, he made it.
Dope.
But yeah,
well, Mike
sorry,
said
when you said baseball, it reminded me of that.
Well, I think I know where Mike's going here, but he said, I do have some NFL stuff for you. A potential couple to rival Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Well, now,
yeah,
I've got something about freaking Kelce too. So whenever you're ready.
Well, go ahead, because I'm waiting on his next text. So I think I know where he's going with it, but yeah.
So did you know Kelce made more money from Pfizer than he did NFL last year?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
I think, and I hope RFK says no more. You can't pay these people to advertise this shit for you, because they're already talking about taking it off of TV. I just made me want to grow up.
I mean, a lot of these drugs they push probably shouldn't be advertised on television to begin with, but
that's wild though.
Talk to your physician. They can tell you this stuff. It doesn't necessarily need to be plastered all over, but you know, but yeah, I hear you there. But
when they're really finding out that it's not good for you, you know, like,
oh, let's try Ozempic. Even though we've not even had any like long-term studies on it, how it could actually affect you. That among everything else.
Waking up blind in one eye from Ozempic.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if that's it or not. But yeah, he said, fun fact: the Globetrotters actually lost to their one-time regular opponents, the Generals, when they forgot to get serious and try late in the game. So there you go. Mess around too much, you go F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's crazy to think. But I know where he's going with this NFL thing. He might be trying to type it, but I'll go ahead and mention it. Potential couple to rival Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is Tom Brady and was it Sydney Sweeney? Yeah, I guess we're seeing maybe potentially getting chummy, I guess he said, at the Jeff Bezos wedding, is what they said. So yeah, Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney.
Isn't she an actress?
Yeah, oh yeah, and a gorgeous one at that. But she's probably half his age. Let's put it that way. And I know Mike in the chat, or our private chat, was talking about how he's rivaling his old head coach with Bill Belichick and his young fiance bride, or what. I don't know if they're married now or not.
Yeah, that woman's nuts.
Oh my god.
But Brady's, unless he dated an infant now, the age gap isn't going to be the same. That's for sure.
Eric, you got to be careful saying that.
Sorry. I mean, well, I don't care.
I mean, some of them prefer that, but I'm not saying Brady does. But this child pedophilia right now is rampant.
It's out of control. Yeah. That's not where I was going with it, but sure. I mean, you know. But,
I know, but
if we lose anything on YouTube, we'll just go to Rumble. That's the way it is.
No, I don't mean be careful with it that way. I mean be careful with it in like
saying it and then it being true.
He may end up at a party where this shit's happening. You know, like.
Well, I mean, Diddy's going to be
out
again.
It's not just Diddy. No, he's not going to get out. They did not drop his charges. That's where they fucking lied.
That's why I didn't include it or anything. It sounded like it wasn't maybe true.
Liz Crokin, who is like the author of Pizzagate, and all of that. She worked in Hollywood. She was a reporter in Hollywood. I can't remember her documentaries, but she said they didn't drop them. They reworded it so it made it easier for the jury to understand. And they're like, there were people questioning why nobody else has been charged yet. It's a RICO case. And once Diddy's charged, there should be a whole flood of more charges.
Well, that's why I didn't include it in like any of our news segments, because it was like I was only seeing a few people saying that the charges were dropped. I was going, you would think that would be everywhere if it was true.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Media.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I know the media lies like crazy, but it's like even people I trust, it would be like, all right, they would be all over their stuff too, and it wasn't. So I kept it as it. But again, not getting too much politics before we get into it later on. I did want to mention one thing this week though, and as today, as a matter of fact, is Elon Musk, the Doge father's birthday. He is officially 54 years old today. So happy birthday to the Doge father.
I forgot to tell him.
Yeah, there you go. She'll be on his X account here in a little bit. Definitely tweeting that to him. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think about. I mean, I love this video that they put out of just Elon through the years and stuff too. It's just kind of like an interesting look. I mean, it's AI generated to some degree because I mean, with these transitions, but actual photographs.
Fucking weird.
It's weird the stuff we can do with it now. But I mean, I think these are mostly like photos of him just kind of meshed together.
Was that 2 fists? Go back a bit.
Probably it's AI. Well, I don't know. Well, right there.
Go back a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, see, it just goes to show. It just goes to show you how bad AI is. Well, it's good in some companies, I guess, nowadays. But yeah, this was not the greatest. But again, it's just edited together. But that's just all of his accomplishments throughout his life. So yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like 2011. It was like, what was that? 14 years ago, he becomes a billionaire, and so at 40 years old, he was a billionaire. That's they put me to shame, man. I'll tell you that right now. So. But yeah, and thankfully he bought X, and you know it ends up keeping free speech alive. So we got to at least give him credit there, even if you don't agree with him politically. Got at least you can't deny the dude's a success. So he's kind of I always look at him as the real life Tony Stark. I really do. Maybe without the iron suits, but maybe one day. You never know. You got to get to Mars somehow, right? So, but yeah, happy birthday to Elon for sure.
I feel like if anybody can make a damn Iron Man suit, it'll be him.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. So, yeah, I know. I believe today he was even back kind of criticizing the big beautiful bill again, which we'll talk about a little later on. But hopefully he doesn't go off the rails like he did a couple weeks ago. Let's keep the MAGA powers together. All right, let's not get too crazy, Elon. But so yeah. That was definitely some wild stuff. So we'll be talking more about that later on. Kid Rock on Saturday Night Live back in the day said this about the Olsen twins. I don't know why everybody is anxious for them to be 18. I say if there's I'm not going to even finish that. Y'all could read that at your own leisure. But yeah, I mean, and Kid Rock is, he's not always been a guy I agree with. I agree with him on some things nowadays, but maybe not on that one. So yeah, I do not follow that philosophy, by the way. Fair enough. I don't either. But yeah, back in the day though, how long ago was it he said that? That's another thing too. No.
Back in the day, he was just a young, like
people mature too.
There's right and wrong, and
it just depends on when he said that. I mean, he might have only been in his. I don't know. I'm not want to try to justify or anything, but anyhow, yeah, that's something out there for sure. But not only that, I'll say just me personally. Now that they're all grown up and older, obviously the Olsen twins, I always think Elizabeth Olsen's cuter anyway. The woman who plays Wanda on the MCU, I think she's.
It took me forever to realize she was
the third sister.
Well, the Olsen twins were likely a part of the pedophiles. Bob Saget was. I mean,
yeah, a lot of people speculate that's why he is no longer with us now. So, well, have you ever seen Bob Saget stand up? My goodness, like that's Danny Tanner from Full House. Potty mouth, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I remember the first time I heard Tim Allen stand up and he swore, and I was like, the Tool Man.
But he don't even do it too much in his comedy, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, it does. Yeah, it just makes you think about people, no doubt about it. All right, well, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. Like I said, not so much in sports, but we did talk a little bit there with Tom Brady and Sydney Sweeney maybe dating. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up going. But we do have some wrestling. We got a little bit of movie news, and we got politics tonight. So you ready to dive into it? Yeah, All right, let's rock.
Yeah.
All right, we have a little bit of WWE. We got a little bit of AEW because we're going to be off the next 2 weeks. We'll be coming back in 3 weeks' time for our next show. So we've got a couple things to cover before we go off on a little bit of a break there. We got the 4th of July weekend next weekend. And the weekend after that, I'm having everybody over for All In AEW. So hopefully we'll be able to have a couple weeks off, a little bit of a nice break, but at the same time, we got some stuff we got to do in our personal life, so we'll be doing that. But WWE, it was announced this week that Otis, Chad Gable, and El Grande Americano all injured. Crazy when you think about how Gable and El Grande Americano having the exact same injury. I don't know about you, but that's unheard of where two superstars get hurt with the exact same injury at the exact same time. But sometimes these things happen. But what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
that lion thing you guys were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the?
Do you not see
this is
the difference in these two people, Miranda? Okay,
yeah.
Look how much paler. Okay, Chad.
Yeah,
Gable
one uses a little bit. Hold on. One uses a little bit more self tanner, and I bet he makes a mess.
What are you talking about? One uses their heads are even shaped different. Like, listen, Chad Gable's got a long.
One's got horns.
Head. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Clearly luchador, and the other one is a great.
You guys are going to die tomorrow. Can't lie very well at all.
All I know is, the fact that they both have to have the same shoulder surgery.
It's wild. Crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
maybe they shouldn't have been lying.
What are you talking about?
Fought them.
Wait a minute.
One of those freak accidents of wrestling. You know what I mean?
How do you know it's not Otis wearing the mask?
Seriously?
Yeah.
It could be anybody under that mask. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest luchador of our time is on the shelf. We got people arguing about whether or not Chad Gable and El Grande are the same. Give me a break, guys. And stop with the fake news.
Together,
seriously.
Okay? Get it
misinformation.
Together.
Like, come on, check your sources.
No.
I mean,
seriously.
The dirt sheets are a bunch of liars anyway. Y'all know it.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, stop reading the dirt sheets.
I wish I still had the powers to kick you guys out of here. I'd finish it on my own.
It's all fake news. Fake news.
Yeah, I don't believe it. All right.
God, we wish all three of them the best in their recovery. Hopefully they'll be back soon. But yeah, apparently shoulder injuries are going to be surgery, so this could be a long term, which really sucks because I thought the gimmick was working. I really do.
Right? It was working though. Like it really was. Like it was a kind of a breath of fresh air in a sense, especially now with the acquisition of all the luchadors they got from AAA, and it was cool to see them being put a bigger spotlight on them using El Grande Americano. It sucks because like now that's going to put on the burner for a while until he gets back, but.
And my fear is they don't pick it back up when it gets back.
Yeah, I know.
He'll just be stuck down there in Independence City, in Mexico, and we'll never see him again, which really hurts my heart. It really does. Mike said in the chat, the difference is Gable doesn't wear a mask and Americano does. I mean, clearly he is a luchador that is honoring America's while Gable hates luchadors. So yeah, I mean,
seriously,
the distinction could not be any clearer. But we got these internet conspiracy theorists out there who want to say they're the same person. I don't get it. I
don't get it together. Okay. This is a weird hill to die on. All right. I'm just saying.
I mean, next thing you're going to tell me is the election wasn't stolen.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyhow.
Wow. I hate to get so worked up about this, but I'm so sick. It
pisses me off. Like, no, I'm telling you, misinformation. But anyhow, moving forward. Moving forward, this week the Riyadh shows in Saudi Arabia went off without a hitch. Apparently, I mean, hopefully everybody gets back safe and everything. Thank God. Which we'll talk about more about the ceasefire and stuff. Hope that might have led to their decision potentially, but I don't think they were going to change no matter what. To be from the sounds of things, but SmackDown took place in Riyadh, and we have a new Women's United States Champion. That is Julia, who defeated Zelina Vega for the Women's U.S. Championship on Friday Night SmackDown. So thoughts on Julia, who's not been on the main roster for very long, but now a WWE United States Women's Champion.
Hey, she's good at her job. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Julia's a hell of a wrestler. Like, she had a lot of potential down in NXT. She was crushing it down there. So I don't see why the opportunity shouldn't be given to her. It sucks for Zelina Vega because I actually like Zelina Vega.
I like her too, but it's one of those instances where, like, when you crown a champion, like in Zelina, sometimes you crown a champion and it just doesn't work the way you think it will. Or but the problem, part of that is they really didn't book her to do much either, though. To be quite honest, I mean, it's kind of the way with Jey Uso in the world title. They just didn't book him into a lot of things when he was the champion. So, like you said, it sucks for Zelina, but I am happy for Julia, no doubt about it. Pretty good young and up-and-coming talent, I think. So hopefully this will further her career. Kind of like it helped Lyra Valkyrie a little bit, but even she's kind of been on the back burner a little bit as of late. But hopefully she'll have a nice feud there with Bayley or Becky Lynch. They're kind of teasing on Raw. As for WWE, let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. SmackDown. Also, we saw the Punk Life version of CM Punk, who come out and confronted his opponent John Cena at Night of Champions, complete with the basic Punkonomics, drug-free knuckle plates there, as it were. Obviously, this is ripping on John Cena's basic Thugonomics character from when he started back in WWE like 20 some years ago. I actually thought this was really good. Outside of the fact I thought Punk's rap towards Cena wasn't the greatest. Now, I did think at the very end he had a really good line talking about how I was going to read it here if I could find it. Oh, before you go, John, there's one more wish to make. Tomorrow night, you're going to lose to Kendrick because you're my Drake. I thought that was a pretty interesting line. That was a good way to end it. But at the same time, the rest of it wasn't. I mean, it was entertaining at some points, but some of it didn't rhyme. Some of it, I don't know, just didn't really hit for me. But I thought, I can't go lie, the get-up was pretty interesting to see Punk come out looking like that. It led to a lot of people kind of speculating whether or not WWE's kind of putting CM Punk through the ringer a little bit, like in a hazing type situation, kind of like putting him in these situations he maybe wouldn't have done in the past. Either that, or it could be that CM Punk is just more mature and grown up now, where he's willing to do these sort of things nowadays. So, in all, I thought this was kind of
but it still fits the story narrative, though. Like, why wouldn't he dress up like John Cena? He's making John hate what John was. You know, he's trying to show him. John's talking about, like, you know, this whole crusade of taking the title, being the last champion, and you guys starting over. You know, I built all it. It's kind of throwing all this back in his face. It's the same thing that, like, R-Truth was kind of doing when he was a face, like making John realize, like, this is what wrestling was. This is what you made it. This was the best part of it. And now it's CM Punk doing it in a mocking, but in a mocking sense of, like, this is you. This is who you are. You know what I mean? This is like one of those, this is your life segments, but
yeah,
CM Punk's doing it.
Well, not only that, John Cena last week literally stole CM Punk's pipe bomb promo and worked it for him. So this kind of was a bit of a payback for that situation. 14 years to the day of the pipe bomb promo was this promo by CM Punk. Not only that, it's already got, I believe, a created superstar on the WWE community creations for WWE 2K25 of CM Punk in this getup. So I'm definitely downloading that whenever I can find it. No doubt about it. So I'm trying to work on that. I'm a little behind on it, but I'd like to get some of that all modded out. It'd be great. But yeah. So anyway, I thought this was kind of fun. Mike said in the chat too, he said the deal. Oh, I'm sorry. He said, remember when Edge and Christian beat the Hardys for the titles as the Conquistadors? The Hardys dressed as the champion Conquistadors to beat Edge and Christian and regain the titles. I got you. No, the Conquistadors were a completely different tag team. I don't know what you're talking about.
Seriously, like, Mike, I don't know.
Get it, Mike. You're better than this. You're the fun facts and trivia guru. I mean, Conquistadors were clearly a different team.
Seriously.
No, clearly not.
I don't understand this luchador hate all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I don't get it.
You know, people behind the mask are their own individuals. Stop, hating.
Yeah,
seriously.
stop. Yeah, seriously.
It's terrible. Mike said the deal was Edge and Christian couldn't challenge for the titles as long as the Hardys were champs, so they dressed as Conquistadors to win them, and then have two guys dressed as Conquistadors.
No, the Conquistadors won the tag. What are we talking about?
Fair. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. You're ruining canon, okay?
Yeah.
Like, just
Seriously.
So yeah, but like I said, the rest of the Saudi Arabia shows went off without a hitch. The Night of Champions show in Saudi Arabia, as we had a few surprises on the show. Couple matches that were kind of like, all right, we kind of expected, like Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel Rodriguez in I believe it was a street fight, but it ended up with like a riptide off a table set up in the top corner. So that was crazy. We also had Sami Zayn defeating Karrion Kross. Cross is still yet to win on the main roster. But one of the more surprise moments of the day was Solo Sikoa becoming the new United States champion, defeating Jacob Fatu on the men's side of the United States Championship bracket there. And the numbers game was what ended up winning it here, as we got the returning Tonga Loa and the debuting Hikuleo coming out and saving and helping Solo Sikoa along with JC Mateo to win the United States Championship here. So Solo Sikoa's new bloodline continues to expand a little bit here, and maybe Tama Tonga will come back from injury at some point here, and he'll have a 5-man crew. What are your thoughts on Hikuleo's debut and the returning Tama Tonga with the numbers game here?
I didn't realize how big Hikuleo was. He is pretty fucking huge. But it was rumored a while back, before Mateo, hell, even before Jacob, that Hikuleo was going to be there. I thought we would have seen him before we saw Jacob, to be honest. But for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, he was held off till now. And it works. Like, giving Solo this,
he needs it.
Yeah, which is weird because his name is Solo. That's, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, like from a booking standpoint, he's kind of been taking a back seat a little bit to like Jacob and Jey Uso and Roman, obviously. I think this will hopefully
that's no
further
fault
his,
but that's not his
of course.
Like,
of course. I think it's more of a network not wanting to push him type situation. They feel like he's not as charismatic. But you know what? I think
weird.
It's crazy to think.
Character fits him, his personality, and everything. Like, Solo played his role perfectly. And then given the opportunity to step out of that role to play this one, he still nailed it. My man came out with the black suit, with the red tie, and the gloves, like a mob boss. All the promos were cut that way. Like, that's because that's the feel you were supposed to have. I don't get where you're coming from, where you don't think he's doing it. He was. The crowd hated him so much, as they should, because everything he was doing, and he was doing it the right way. And you can't say it's his wrestling ability, because the motherfucker gets in the ring and it's lights out. For a guy his size to move as he moves, as quick as he is on his feet, as agile as he is, it's not his wrestling acumen that you can put in the debate here. His promos are they're not even not bad. They're actually good. His backstage segments are good. I don't understand why he didn't. And I'm glad he's got a title at this point. And we talked about this last week when we talked about it. I said it could go either way between him and Jacob. Would I want Solo to win that title? For sure. Jacob's popularity skyrocketed because Jacob, when he showed up, was this freak of nature that people have never seen before.
Destroying Braun Strowman the way he did put him over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and Jacob, he doesn't need the title as much as Solo does right now, in my opinion.
Jacob skyrocketed. And again, it wasn't anybody's fault that it turned out that way. It just did. There's plenty of debuts that we've seen where they get into a group or whatever, and one person outshines the other person, like, to no fault of anybody else in that group. It's just sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Now, my bigger question with this right now is, where is all this bloodline stuff potentially going again here? Because obviously you got Jimmy Uso helping out Jacob Fatu a little bit here and there on SmackDown, even though they both kind of, like the other night, was like, well, I don't really need your help, but they also had a mutual respect going on. I kind of wonder, are we again leading to potentially like a Survivor Series War Games type situation, bloodline versus bloodline? But do you bring back Roman and Jay into this and Sami Zayn? I mean, how much do we have? Eventually some fans are going to be like, are we repeating the same story here?
No, I don't think this is going to.
I don't want it to get stale is all. I don't
think it's going to have anything to do with Roman or anything like that. Like, I don't think Roman's a part of this situation. Roman's got his own deal to worry about now.
Yeah, we've got a little news about Roman later we'll talk about. But I do expect him maybe be at SummerSlam. I don't know where he'll fit in just yet.
But Roman's past this whole bloodline thing at this point. His sights are elsewhere.
Well, his whole story is
Jimmy,
about him doing it on his own too.
yeah,
You know, the
Jimmy and
one
Jay
man.
are doing their own thing. I mean, Jimmy, yeah, maybe he could be a
Mhm.
part of it. But also but that's a situation of him trying to get his brother in line. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's different. Um, Jay, Jay's got other shit going on, so I doubt Jay will be a part of it.
I don't know. Does Jay really got a whole lot going on right now? He just lost the world title, just lost in the King of the Ring finals, which we're going to, or semifinals.
Mhm.
So yeah, Jay really don't have a lot going on right now. So I don't know where that's going to put Jay yet. It very well could still factor into this. So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I like I said, I'm intrigued. I just don't know where the long-term goal is here just yet. Maybe they
Yeah.
got a plan, but right now I'm kind of just like they got me hooked, but I'm like, okay, I want to know where it's going. So hopefully they'll flesh that out heading into the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam, as it were.
There'll probably be one more Samoan showing up soon.
Mhm. We also got the King of the Ring. Who would that be though? Oh, there's
Zilla.
Zilla. Yeah. Okay, so maybe he joins Jacob Fatu in them. We also had the finals for the King of the Ring tournament. Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton, and during this match, used some heel tactics actually, including an exposed turnbuckle. Randy Orton also hesitated on a punt attempt, which ended up costing Randy Orton the match. So, thoughts on Cody Rhodes potentially now, the interesting part here is when Randy Orton left the ring, he actually looked a bit like maybe he was teasing the heel turn. But Cody Rhodes, even during the promo he cut afterwards, was like, CM Punk or John Cena, no matter who holds the world championship, is only holding it for themselves. But they're in a long run, they're only holding it for me. So again, it was kind of like it felt like, even though they were teasing a Randy Orton heel turn, like they were going for the Cody Rhodes heel turn potentially, maybe doing like a Homelander type thing, which is kind of what his
Mhm.
gimmick is based off of anyway from the boys. So is Cody Rhodes going to be the one to turn heel here at some point? And does he potentially win the championship back at SummerSlam?
Maybe.
I mean,
Do you think he
it sure.
beats Cena?
I mean, they're already kind of teasing Cena, even during this match, which we're going to talk about in a second. Even during the match where Cena was kind of showing flashes of his old babyface self, the virtuous Cena that we all know and love for the last 20 years. So, yeah, maybe we're getting a double turn at
Mhm.
SummerSlam. Cody turns heel, Cena turns face again. So, yeah, but as of right now, that is the match that's booked for the main event of SummerSlam, rematch of WrestleMania 41. God, please let it be better than WrestleMania 41 because it was not good there. But this was, the main event. I think Cena had the best match of his run here. But yeah, so but the interesting part about Cody Rhodes during turning heel, though, is part of the reason he left AEW was the fact that he didn't want to go heel. Is he more willing to do it in WWE?
Given the right story, it would work, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on how far they go with the whole kind of Homelander idea
Mm-hmm.
of Cody
I think
Rhodes.
it could work because Cody, in his mind, would be the baby face,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, he wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I think it actually has a potential because that would also play into the fact that he didn't want to turn heel on AEW. So in his mind, he's the good guy, which all good villains in their mind are the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be gold. I don't know, but then who do you'd have to have like Jey Uso, maybe Randy Orton. These baby faces chase him. Maybe even John Cena have to chase him before he retires. I don't know, but intriguing, to say the least, in my opinion. Coming out of Night of Champions, we'll have to see how that ends up going forward. Also at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, we got the Queen of the Ring finals as well. Jade Cargill came out dressed as Marvel Storm, and she defeated Asuka to become Queen Jade. But she won actually in a weird fashion, giving her finisher. And then, of course, she slipped on the pinfall attempt, and she actually botched the pin. And somehow the referee counted 3 here, even though her shoulders were down as well. I don't know how you botch a pin, but Jade Cargill is a little green, but they view her well enough to make her Queen of the Ring, and she will get a Women's World Championship match at SummerSlam. As of right now, that puts her probably against Io Sky, unless she chooses to challenge Tiffany Stratton. So, thoughts on that?
She won. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that outfit is pretty dope. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, I mean the Storm outfit was great. I mean, look, I mean, she's always wanted to play that character too, from what I understand. Maybe this is kind of her pitch to, hey, Marvel, I know you got an X-Men reboot coming up. I don't think that's going to happen, but not saying she would look the part, but the acting wise is another story. But I know that's kind of her goal.
But that's pretty dope, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, dope.
Look, they have faith in her. Yeah, the botch happened. It is what it is. It's a weird one.
She was getting extra excited kicking when she did it, and she just kind of fell backward and slipped. It happens. You know, I'm not going to criticize it too much, but a lot of fans online were like, "How could you botch a pin?" I'm like,
I have.
You guys don't understand. Wrestling is not perfect. Okay, people botch. WWE, AEW, it happens. Okay, we're all human. It's what happens in pro wrestling.
Shit happens. You overthink it, or you're just not paying attention. Shit happens.
Yeah. It's like a missed fucking field goal. Like they missed.
Yeah.
You
should have slipped 2 inches and you missed a kick. Yeah. I mean, it's life, you know. It's the way we are.
Last week, Jackson landed on Anaya's arm and almost broke it.
Oh, not cool. Not good at all.
No,
but they've definitely been high on her.
Would I've loved for Oscar to win? Yes. But that's just me being a super Oscar fan. So I guess that's.
And her and Io, if she chooses to challenge Tiffany Stratton, her or Asuka and Io can still have the old damage control connection, even though I think they officially kind of broke that group up last week as well. But so that's all there is for that. But so yeah, I mean, we'll see how this ends up going. I know Stratton just defended against Nia Jax on SmackDown in a last woman standing match. So Tiffany Stratton still holding strong there. As for the main event, obviously we got John Cena retaining his WWE Championship. What started as a battle between two all-time greats who know each other incredibly well in a match that had the fans in Riyadh hanging on every move descended into chaos with the arrival of Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. Penta and Sami Zayn arrived to counter them, and Cena showed flashes of the upstanding superstar we once seen, as I mentioned earlier, and Rollins clocked Punk with the Money in the Bank briefcase and a curb stomp where Cena capitalized, scoring a quick pinfall victory on Punk and costing Rollins a chance to cash in his guaranteed title opportunity for the win. So, so that's still a thing that's going to be out there.
First of all, Cena shoulder blocked the holy hell out of, damn it, the referee, Charles
Robinson, who ran down the ramp as like an old callback to when he did it before, and Cena destroyed him.
God, he got level.
That'll be a gift for years to come, no doubt about it. Funny for sure, no doubt. But the finish, I could argue, is a bit overbooked. But at the same time, this was better.
All cash-ins are overbooked, though.
Well, yeah, I guess this one had like 6 guys, but as far as I understand, he did not actually cash it in though.
No.
So there you go.
That's why he knocked over Charles Robinson, so he couldn't cash it.
Right. So smart. But yeah. So thoughts on? I did like the call back to the Cena heel turn where he hugged Punk, tried to kick him, Punk countered and tried to almost what do they call it? Oh crap! What's Punk's move again? It's off the top of my head. I can't remember. GTS, thank you. And then Cena reversed, and that's when Rollins hit him and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, this again, Cena continues to hold the belt during his final run here. Again, CM Punk try since he's come back. He's not been able to capture the gold. So I'm sure it'll come eventually, but as of right now, it doesn't make much sense with the story they're telling overall. So, yeah, thoughts on Night of Champions as a pay-per-view overall?
You think CM Punk one more time beats John in John's last match for the title? I still think it'd be great. I said, do you think Cena will beat or Punk beats Cena one more time in Cena's last match?
I mean, you could do that.
I still think it's great if Cena leaves with that belt. Like Cena doesn't lose.
I mean, you could. I just got this feeling some babyface or somebody will, if it's not Cody, I don't know, maybe Jay, I don't know, somebody will beat him for that title before his run. I think he may actually lose it at SummerSlam. I really do.
And then you do, if there's no title, that means now you hold another tournament but also now you're King of the Ring winner and your Money in the Bank winner also automatically qualify in a number 1 contendership for that title, period.
Yeah.
And then you put those two against it, and whoever wins it gets that vacant title.
You could. But I think depending on what they do at SummerSlam, because as of right now, it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE title. However, speculation's been going around for the last few weeks, and the finish of this match actually leads credence to the theory that the way CM Punk got screwed out of this because Seth Rollins got involved, the SummerSlam main event could be a triple threat match for the title with CM Punk involved as well, with Seth Rollins lurking on the outside with that Money in the Bank briefcase.
Turn into a four-way, a fatal four-way.
You could if he wants to cash in there, but you also wouldn't be the element of surprise that way. But if Cody Rhodes and John Cena do the double turn, as we talked about earlier, with Cody going heel, Cena going face, CM Punk could potentially still leave with this title if this were the case. And then Cody could chase Punk. Maybe. I don't know. But that's just a theory. We'll have to wait and see if this ends up manifesting into being the actual main event or not. But
no, I think they want Cena to hold that belt all the way until his last match, which is
December.
In December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He'll lose. If he loses the title, it'll be in December.
Which I believe is going to be in Boston, Massachusetts, which is
so if he loses the title, it'll be in December. But I honestly feel like it's better if he doesn't lose it and he does what he says. And then WWE introduces or brings back
a new lineage, maybe start all over, which I mean, that's a long lineage to get rid of.
But brother, that is an era of wrestling there is no one left from that era. John, John,
Randy, but Randy's on his way out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old school is, pretty much, I mean, Jericho's still a thing in WWE or AEW, but for the most part, that old guard is no longer left, so I get your point. I really do, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
You give all the young guys, this new generation, their own lineage, their own title. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? Like, if this was me, I would let John, because it's not like he doesn't fucking deserve it. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with Taker. Taker did so much for the WWF/WWE at the time when Triple H was out, when The Rock was out, when Stone Cold was out, when Shawn was out. It was Taker. Taker was a constant in the WWE/WWF for years. And then John is the same way, though. Cena carried the WWE into the Attitude Era. And he had such a huge impact in that time frame, whether people hated him or not. I mean, you can't deny him. The man was Mr. WWE at the time. He was the workhorse of the Federation. Everybody wanted to have a good match. You knew who you had to go against, and it was John. And if you couldn't go against John, you weren't shit. It's the same way they treated Shawn Michaels. If you couldn't get in that ring with Shawn or Brett, it wasn't for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cena was the same way. You wanted to test to see how long...
Considering they would literally make whoever they were working with look good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So if you get look good with them.
He got in there. Think about it. He got in there with fucking Kurt Angle, which that guy was designed to blow you up. Just like Perry Saturn, when he's doing WCW. They used to put guys in the ring with Perry just for them to see if they could get blown up. And Perry would blow these guys up every time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, John was that guy. So, like, I think, like, if you're going to end it, let John be the one to do it, is what I would do. Mm-hmm. And then give this newer generation their own lineage and title to hold and build up.
I mean, I see your point. I'm not sure they're going to actually do that, but I do see your point. I mean, but I could definitely see like a new design coming out of it, but we've had that many times in the past. But
I think it's time too. I think we need to update them belts. I mean,
they put the gold plating in behind, made it look better, but
But I think they should go back to the old. I used to love the big. Well, the Eagle belt, but I don't think we're ever getting.
Yeah, even if that's not the old school winged eagle, you can do like what they did with the big blue belt with like a winged eagle type design, something similar. You know what I mean? Just something kind of a callback, kind of like with the World Heavyweight Championship. It's like the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, but it's got the WWE logo in the middle of it. I mean, so I get it. You got to brand it, but it doesn't necessarily need that big old WWE logo to cover the whole thing. But a couple chats here, and don't worry, Mike, I'll get to the ones before this. But he said, "Am I mistaken, or was it Dom versus Styles? AJ Styles supposed to be on Night of Champions, or is that Saturday Night's main event?" No, you're right. It was supposed to be on Night of Champions, but I believe the story goes there. Once this stuff happened over there in the Middle East, I think, from what I read online, Rey Mysterio might have called an executive decision and said, "You're not going." and they came up with the injury angle on Monday Night Raw. They did. I don't know if they actually even said what it was on Monday Night Raw, but they said that Dominic was not medically cleared for this AJ Styles match. Yeah, so maybe it does take place at Saturday night's main event now. I'm not sure. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it was scheduled for Night of Champions. But from what I understand, I think Daddy Ray said, yeah, you're not going over there where it's too dangerous. So that's the rumor. I could. Yeah, I wouldn't want him to go either. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but that's what I read. Mike said also in the chat, the Conquistadors were definitely a different team. LOL. He's right about that. He said there needs to be a masked luchador that looks strangely like Brandon named Hershey Kiss. Finisher can be a top rope move called the Chocolate Kiss. So there you go. Well, you're not down for that?
I did wrestle under a mask for a little while.
No, really? What was your luchador name?
Yeah, I can't say.
Yeah, Brandon, what was it? What was it, Brandon?
Oh,
come on, Brandon. Let's
go. Maybe he can text Brandon what it was later. I'm curious now. I forgot.
I can get a picture pulled up of it.
Apparently, it's not PG. I'm assuming.
I did. I wrestled under a mask. Good time.
All right. Or yeah, man. Now I really don't know if I need to see it. To be honest with you, she's gonna send it. She goes,
yes.
It
was based off an actual wrestler, though.
What?
It was based off an actual wrestler, an actual luchador wrestler.
No. We'll come back to that if I get the text, but we'll see.
It was like the Sami Zayn of wrestling at the point in time, El Generico, and then
yeah, Mike said I'm curious now as well. So yeah, you open that can of worms. Mike might have stumbled on a gold mine. Anyway, so yeah. But moving on a little bit, as Miranda looks for that. Yeah, on the AEW side of things, we are now like what was that? About two some weeks away from AEW's biggest show of the year, their WrestleMania, AEW All In Texas.
Yeah, it's the day after our anniversary, babe.
Oh, there you go. So yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So you can have that Friday off and come over to my place on Saturday. So there you go. But
no, I'm not taking another Friday off. Aaron's gonna kill me.
Oh yeah, I understand that one. But it's actually going to be a week-long type stuff of festivities, much like WrestleMania that WWE does. They got Dynamite and Collision on Wednesday, Thursday, Starcast on Friday, and then a Ring of Honor pay-per-view Friday night as well. Death Before Dishonor with All In Texas coming up on Saturday night as well. Or I think it might be it's the afternoon, 2 p.m. So also WWE's got shows they're running that weekend as well, with Saturday night's main event that evening with the NXT Great American Bash that afternoon, as well as Evolution 2 coming up on Sunday night, which we'll be interested to see how that show gets booked with the injuries to like Liv Morgan and whatnot. So we'll keep an eye on that. But when it comes to AEW All In, we're not going to have another show before this show takes place. So I thought we'd do a little predictions here. Who do you think is going to win the AEW World Championship match? Hangman versus John Moxley. Adam Hangman Page looking to save the belts from the briefcase that Moxley's kept it in since December. So hoping that Moxley gets defeated here and maybe that Death Rider storyline takes a bit of a back seat moving forward. What do you think?
That's what I hope, but I'm telling you, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you think it's going to continue with Death Riders?
Yep.
I actually think it's going to complete the redemption arc of Adam Hangman Page. He'll get his old babyface name back.
So.
And I mean, you may be right. I'm not going to deny that, but I just think based on the way they've been booking it, it makes sense to me that that's where they're going to end up going with it. And but at the same time, we might see some returning baby faces a little bit later in this show or earlier in this show. We'll talk about in just a second. Also on the big show, Ospreay or Kenny Omega, I should say, Kazuchika Okada for the Unified Championship belt that we talked about a little bit last week here, with the AEW Continental Champion and International Championship belts being unified into one title. Apparently, it's the 5th match in the series for both these particular feuds here, Hangman and Mox, as well as Okada and Omega. So, big-time matches that they know will and can deliver that they're putting on their biggest show here.
Here's my real question.
Yeah?
Do you really want Okada to lose this?
I mean, to me, I really don't have a preference between the two guys. I love both guys. I think it could work. With that.
Hasn't, I mean, besides that title, and he's squashed it like one or two other people.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real valuable threat here. He loses this match, then what? They're teasing this whole thing between him and Takeshita. Mm-hmm. Granted, you don't need the title for that to be a thing, But to have him lose, and then it ended up he would probably lose to Takeshita. Let's be honest, because Takeshita right now.
Remember, he just joined the Don Callis family too, though.
That's short term, and Takeshita.
You think it is? Okay.
Yeah, Takeshita said to himself. He goes because he said something about this being temporary. So there's no way Takeshita's losing that match against Okada. Not gonna happen.
Right.
So do you want him to lose this match and then lose against Takeshita? No, that does nothing for Okada.
Well, I'm not automatically giving that win to Takeshita either.
I would.
Takeshita, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but yeah,
Takeshita
I mean, you might be right there.
Is the bigger star than Okada.
I would think this would be kind of the full circle from the injury or the illness, I should say, from Kenny Omega winning the belt. I think that's probably where it's going to go. He's back, 100%, which we kind of know he's doing pretty well, so that's good. But yeah, I think he's going to get crowned here. I really do. But before they do the Don Callis breakup, and I'm admittedly still a little behind on AEW, got way behind, and I still need to catch up. But I still want to see Okada teaming with Takeshita to go against Kenny Omega and the recently returned Kota Ibushi. You don't think it's going to happen?
Maybe before All In, sure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It may happen before that. I don't know.
If you do see it, it's not one of those tight alliances. It's not. Again, Takeshita was in this man's face, staring at that title, and he says to him, "This is temporary."
Yeah. Well, there you go. So maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about the title in that situation, though. I think it will be Kenny Omega's, and I think you probably agree Kenny Omega wins this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but at the same time, it's like, what's that do for Okada?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, either guy losing here, it's not going to hurt either guy. So if Okada loses, okay, fine. I think both guys are over enough with the crowd that it's not going to matter who holds the strap at the end of the day.
I hate this fucking name,
though. What? Yes, the Unified Championship. I agree with you. Mike also said, what would you think if Hangman wins, opens the briefcase, and it's a new world title belt? I mean, you could. AEW's had the same belt since their inception, so you could come up with a new design.
They unveil that on a Dynamite. I don't think they do that just on the whim, because that means Moxley had that new title in that briefcase the whole time. That makes no sense.
Well, he did say he was going to change the company, so I mean that maybe. I mean, it would make some sense, but yeah, I think they would want to unveil it in a grand way. I don't disagree.
If he opens it and it's a different looking title, it's going to be branded with Death Rider shit in order to make it seem, you know what I mean? Like, because he was trying to brand the company in his own image. So therefore, but no, I think you'll get the same looking title. If they do show a new title, it'll be in a Dynamite. It's not going to be just boom. Like I said, it makes no sense that this spiffy new title that they're going to be carrying around was in the briefcase that fucking long.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you on that one. We got the AEW Women's World Championship match, Thomas Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. 6 belts Moné at this point.
Brother, if she wins this, you chalk it up.
Yeah, look, I got nothing against Mercedes Moné outside of the fact that it seems like she's playing Hulk Hogan a bit here. I hate to tell you, though, I don't think Toni Storm has a chance the way they're booking Mercedes Moné. I really don't. I think this is going to be 7 belts Moné. I really do.
What does this do for the women's division?
I don't disagree with that.
I'm being real honest.
Yeah.
Because that means she has beaten every woman they put in front of her.
Well, the only thing I could say it does for the division is it's going to be something similar to like Roman Reigns holding the belt for a long period of time, and every woman on the division is going to be gunning for her. You can do that, especially with the match we're going to talk about in just a second. I don't know. That's going to be the thing. It may be who's going to take her down and how long is she going to be.
Yes, Roman won, but Roman also had the help of the bloodline.
She's
done that shit solo dolo. So she's beaten every credible woman on your fucking roster.
I would say she might have had a muscle there for a short period of time. But yeah, for the most part, it's been one-on-one. Yeah, so I mean, it would make more sense if she had like a muscle at all times or somebody to always constantly interfere as a heel, no doubt about it. So yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see where this goes. I mean, I think it'll be a good match. I think both women are very talented.
Sure, it'll be a good match, but what cognitive sense does that make, though?
I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. So in that regard, I think the booking could be a little bit better in that case. But it's always been their idea to have these two wrestle. I still think Athena needs to be the one to dethrone
I
Mercedes Moné. But yeah,
should have been happened.
yeah. We also got the. I hate how that kind of reduces the size of stuff when we do anyway. We also got the announcement of a women's casino gauntlet match and a men's casino gauntlet match, which is basically AEW's version of the Royal Rumble to some degree, where two men start or two women start, and every few minutes or whatever, someone else comes in. Now, the only difference is there's like not, I think it's up to 15 people in the match, I think. But at any given time, it's sudden death. You don't wait for all 15 to enter the ring. So some people may not even be able to get the opportunity to get into the ring before the match is over. So, but either way, the winner of sudden death, it's a pinfall submission, a finish. The winners of these two will get world championship matches down the line. So it's a good way to push some new people. It's also a good way, kind of just like the Royal Rumble, to have some returning people off from injury. In the men's case, we could see Eddie Kingston return, Orange Cassidy, Adam Copeland. There's also, I think there might have been a couple others there, but in the women, that maybe Britt Baker returns. I don't know. That one's kind of up in the air at this point, but it's a good place to debut. Darby Allin was the other one I was thinking of. Thank you. So we could see some returns as well as some debuts or just some surprises in general. So who would you maybe think to maybe could book this for the men's and women's side of things? And what are your thoughts on
it depends if you have any of these. And as far as the women go, I don't know on that one, unless it's Athena.
Yeah, I think it'd be my top choice, considering you dogged her out before. I would rather see her, and she is in this match, by the way. Yeah. That's already been confirmed, I think. So
her,
she's my favorite.
But
on the men's side, I could see Darby Allin winning to challenge. If it is Mox, I think if Darby Allin wins this, it's a telltale sign that Mox is retaining. I'll tell you that right now. Orange Cassidy, same way. I don't know if you do put it, maybe right away on him or not too. But if it's Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston would be a great one. It's like, yeah, him and Mox again got that history. So, yeah, this could very well tell who wins the main event. Which, look, for the most part, I think AEW's these matches that we're talking about here could go either way. Very unpredictable, and the booking has been good enough to do that. But at the same time, like a couple of these earlier matches could potentially, spoil the ending, unfortunately. Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good predictability. But yeah. Also, we've got a match that I'm sure will be accepted that was put out on Dynamite this week. Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland officially challenge the Young Bucks to a tag team match at All In. And it will be, if Swerve and Ospreay win, the Young Bucks no longer have their executive vice president powers. I don't know if that means Swerve and Ospreay will then become VVPs, or if that just means the Young Bucks no longer have the power. Either way, it's intriguing for a stipulation. So what?
It's a weird one because there is no benefit. All it is, if Swerve and Ospreay win, what do they gain? Nothing.
Well, that's why I'd like to double check and see if they get the power. I don't think they do. It's more like
that makes zero sense.
Well, I think they were playing on a storyline like they booked them in a match together or something. But either way, it keeps them out of their business. So in a way, it also the rule over AEW with the way they've been EVPs, I could see it's benefiting overall baby faces and things like that. So there's a little there, but yeah, I can see your point. But yeah, not only that, Swerve and Ospreay are not the greatest of friends or greatest of allies either. But definitely more so.
So I feel like what they should have, the stipulation should have been, is if Swerve and Ospreay win, then Matt and Nick cannot interfere at all in the main event between Hangman and Moxley. Period. If the Bucks win, then they can do whatever the fuck they want, regardless. Or then they could just flip it on them and say, then you guys can't interfere in the main event between Hangman and Moxley. I think that's a better stipulation than the EVP title. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way the Bucks aren't losing this match.
You don't think so? See, I actually think they are, because I think it's about time that at least if they're executive vice presidents of the company in real life 5, I don't think it necessarily needs to be on television. There's no point in it, really. And
I also feel it's weird that the Bucks aren't I get why they said they were coming back to help Paige, but then in the long run they end up helping Moxley. It's fucking weird.
Well, that and Paige didn't want the help, that sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, but that was later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
But then they were doing all this shit to not. It was fucking weird. But at the same time, why not go for the tag titles? Like, you guys you claim to be one of the best tag teams in wrestling. Your focus should have been on the tag titles.
It's also like it's not like they haven't been there and done that with the tag titles either, though, you know.
Yeah, but with the division could use that.
I agree with that. Which leads me to my final point on All In is obviously the whole MJF angle with the Hurt Syndicate, the AEW tag titles. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this is kind of cool with the MJF wearing
kind of like MVP. What the Nation did with fucking Owen.
Yeah, kind of. But it's like an MVP style, you know, gear here he's wearing. Yeah. So I thought that was a cool call back there with him with MVP there being their manager. But I don't necessarily know if I don't think they've announced a AEW World. I'm sure there'll be a tag team championship match on this show. But what's the MJF angle here? How long does that go before?
It's going to be what's it called? What's their names? You didn't watch.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a little behind.
All right, it's going to be
full disclosure.
What the fuck is his name? Speedball Bailey and Kevin Knight.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're not winning that match.
No,
Hurt Syndicate's winning that. No, yeah, it's a little. And don't get me wrong, I like Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, but they have been tagging a little bit. But to me, it feels like they throw two guys together, and you know what I'm saying?
Like
so
like the Bucks should be in this situation simply because they're a credible threat to. Well, there's been a couple credible threats. They brought back the Young Guns, which I don't see why they got beat. I still feel like you could have built that whole thing up.
Yeah, where are they, by the way?
I don't fucking know, man.
And speaking of returns in the men's gauntlet match, the other guy, not Jay White, Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson is also close to returning, from what I understand. So, and you could see the Guns or Jay White come back in that too. That's another thing. I don't know, but yeah, the tag division in AEW, they don't have outside of FTR and some of the stuff they're doing with like
he's in the gauntlet.
Paragon.
MJF's in the gauntlet, which is weird to me because he said he didn't want to do a tournament. This is why he didn't do the Owen to get.
But he says he does want to get his triple. Yeah.
Yeah. He says he wants to get Triple B back, but he said he was going to do it the smart way, and that's not by doing a tournament, which was the Owen. But now he's going to do a tournament, a sudden death tournament, which is even harder than the original tournament he could have just did in the first fucking place.
Yeah, fair enough. That's why again, and I love AEW. I really do. And people who watch me and know this, know me, know that. But I will say it feels like AEW All In. I think the matches on paper are going to be great, but some of the build has not been the best in my personal opinion. Like I said, I say that as somebody who is a little behind, so I'm not trying to criticize too much because I don't know everything.
Miranda, I'm gonna need you to delete that picture from existence.
She put it in the chat finally. No, don't worry. If it's I don't think I'll put it up.
No, you're fine.
Oh, it's not that bad. I don't know why.
Yeah, you don't know his name. Don't worry about it. Listen.
I'm tempted to throw it up here.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to
me. Also, if Mike wants to see it, well, he can see it. It's in the chat. So,
I will say this. All right, and this is my criticism of AEW.
Okay.
Feel how you want to feel about it. Their matches will be great, sure.
Yeah, they don't put on a good pay-per-view. They always do.
Your matches are not being great does not get you where you need to be.
True.
If there's nothing to hold on to as far as a story to where I care about this character, sure, I know once you get in that ring, banger. But at the same time, what's after that? What's after that? You get what I'm saying? Like, where are we going? Sure, you can put two guys in a ring or two women in a ring and they'll have a hell of a match. But where are we going?
Not only that, now the Hangman stuff's been going on for a while. I'll give you that. The Moxley stuff too. And I think the Hangman Moxley and Omega and Okada has been decent to good, really good build. I mean, but everything else underneath it doesn't feel like it's been planned out for a long period. You know what I mean?
The only
and the MJF stuff may be overall long period eventually, but right now it just feels, the
whole Okada and Omega thing didn't even start in AEW. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
But that underlining thing, again, is something that's an easy fucking story. You didn't really need a build because they've already done it. They've already had that build. This rivalry between them two has been ongoing in a different promotion for years. It's just now here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You could expand on it, sure. But I think that what they should have done and what they should have kept doing was giving people the opportunity to see those matches that didn't see those matches, whether they were, and I know they did it once or twice, by vignettes of showing the wars and battles that they went through. That is a great storytelling tool in this instance for these two. You could have done that too with Moxley and Page, and you chose not to. This one has a weird feel to it in the sense of you have the Bucks who are saying they're doing this to help Page, but at the same time they sided with the dude who wants to destroy the company, a company that they helped build, but at the same time,
which again, when the Death Riders were initially formed, the Young Bucks were running away trying to destroy their papers, and now it was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie to you.
With the whole Monet thing, again, she's going up. It's the one wall hitting another wall here. Like these
unstoppable force meeting the immovable object.
Yeah, and it's like one of them's got to lose for sure. But if it's going to be the one who, for whatever reason, it's collecting titles, then everything that Storm has done, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I believe Tony Storm can survive without the belt, but in this situation, it's like, I mean, freaking Mercedes Moné is going to need a wheelbarrow to carry all these freaking titles around at this rate.
But literally that means you either have to be bringing in somebody who is going to topple all of this,
which I don't think there's anybody available who even fit the bill.
Because she beat them all. Like, you get them.
Yeah. That's what bothers me. That's why I'm still so mad that they had Athena lose to her, which is like Athena should have been the clear cut one to come in there and beat her, and they blew it. I'm not saying
that's the way I feel about this whole tag title thing too. If the Bucks weren't going to do anything, because now it's just going to seem like once Hurt Business, Syndicate loses, the Bucks are going to pick up the scraps, and that's shitty. Like, you should have either been building a team to stop them, and again, the guns were hot when they came back. You could have done so much more with that angle.
Well, not only that, you got freaking. Now, I know FTR and Paragon are over there on the other show doing their own thing, but those two teams right there should be the ones challenging for the titles because they're the ones who are the
Mike Bailey and fucking.
And don't get me wrong, I hope to see Paragon and FTR doing something on this show because they've been building that feud for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially like Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong or something should be going for the tag titles.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Two credible guys. But I mean,
and maybe they eventually will. I'm not saying that won't happen, but
this is all in, dude. This is your WrestleMania. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I agree. Well, we don't want to belittle this forever or be on this.
No,
forever,
I'm not trying to belittle. I'm just saying.
No, that was a bad word. I meant I didn't want to linger on it forever, but yeah,
it sucks. But at the same time, in the ring, the matches will be great. It's just where do we go from after this? Like, what do we do after this?
Yeah, I don't know, but like I said, I'm sure the pay-per-view is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm having everybody over. It'll be a fun night to watch pro wrestling. But sometimes I do think AEW could definitely work on some of their build for sure, especially and WWE too on the undercard. I think could build a little bit better.
WWE undercard is trash.
Yeah, let's be honest. There are times, but for sure. Let's get a couple of Mike's chats here. I didn't forget about you, buddy. He said, "What if they do a double turn? The Death Riders betray Moxley and decide to ride with the Cowboy himself, Hangman."
That makes no sense, but I can
Claudio, and I mean, you could. I mean, like his Western Cowboy crew. I don't know what you use, a posse type thing. I mean, I don't know. Did you see Claudio wearing a cowboy hat and a Wheeler Yuta with spurs on his boots?
No.
Not at all. Probably not going to be a thing. He said, but if the Death Riders are associated with the Bucks, who have a history with Hangman, then a double turn could be possible. That is true.
True.
So that's very possible. The Bucks could double cross the Death Riders and help Hangman. Yeah, Hangman's already said he doesn't want their help, so I don't know.
It makes no sense for Hangman to accept the help because this
unless
is
he's just acting.
redemption story of, and you could turn him heel in this aspect.
Wouldn't be much of a redemption story if you turned him heel at the end of it, though. You know what I mean?
But
so
it
that he's over his crap too. He always
and then
has
too,
been.
you got Darby Allin still, who's
Yeah.
going to be a major face when he comes back. So like,
yeah, and I tell you right now, if Hangman don't do it here, Darby's got to be the guy to dethrone Moxley. Who else are you going to do it? Like we like to talk with Mercedes. You can't beat everybody, and then Darby's the guy. It's plain and simple. If you don't do it, but I think Hangman is going to do it here, and Darby will get his opportunity later. Fun fact, Mike said, going off Eric's wheelbarrow comment for Mercedes in Memphis, the late Brian Christopher, aka Grandmaster Sexay, once had 3 titles and took them around in a little red wagon. I mean, I didn't know that, but perfect. Perfect. I got no problem with that whatsoever. All right, so let's move on from pro wrestling. We've been on that for a little bit, but yeah, some good shows coming up. Definitely go check those out. And like I said, Saturday night's main event, Goldberg returning to wrestle Gunther in his last match as well. That same night as All In.
I thought that already happened.
No, that's coming up in a few weeks. The same night as All In. So maybe there's a way I can have both turned on. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I'm not watching that old man sweat.
No. It'll last 3 minutes anyway. We can pull it up on a highlight after the show's over. Yeah. Anyway. All right, well, let's move on to the movie stuff. We ain't got a whole lot here, so it won't take too long. So here we go. All right, in the world of movie news, I got a few things this week, but like I said, not a whole lot to drag the show on too much here. But yes, we got some big news in the world of Paramount and Transformers this week. Michael Bay, the director who directed Transformers 2007 all the way through Transformers The Last Night, is returning to direct yet another Transformers film. So depending on how you felt about those Transformers films, you may or may not be thrilled with this. I saw a lot of people online who were absolutely ecstatic about this, as if Zack Snyder returned to finish the Justice League films. But me personally, to me, it's like you're not making a sequel to Transformers 1, which by all accounts was a good movie, but they're going to make another movie by the guy who made one good Transformers movie out of the 5 he made.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're fun, bombastic fireworks shows with no plot whatsoever. And to me, it's like it's pointless because there's nothing to get you invested. The good one was 2007, the very first one he did. After that, it just went off a cliff. I mean, we had robot testicle urination humor at one point in this. I mean, and other, close up of Megan Fox's butt. This is the ass shots that Michael Bay are well known for. And don't get me wrong, I like Michael Bay as a director sometimes. I like Bad Boys. I love The Rock. I think he did The Rock. I know he did Armageddon. So I like some of his stuff, but the Transformers stuff, I think we're in agreement. So it's just mostly noise without any substance, correct?
Yep. I mean, I liked Night was good, and I think that's just because you got to see.
Night was the one I couldn't get through. I thought it was terrible.
Really? I liked it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to try and finish it again, but it was.
But it was mainly because you got to see, Optimus use the trailer for the first time, and like
true,
and what happens when Prime goes evil? Like that was pretty cool to fucking see. Like when he actually uses his Prime abilities, like that is. Optimus Prime is a pretty bad motherfucker if you like let him do it, or if he does it. But like, yeah, I'm not a fan of what Michael Bay has done with the Transformers stuff since the first one.
The action stuff is good. I think I would if he could take the robot designs and make him G1 like this or close to this or something to that effect, I'd be more happy. Because not only that, the one thing I think he did do well in the Transformers films was integrating the United States military and stuff with it. I think that he would be a good pick to kind of maybe integrate the G.I. Joe stuff with it, potentially. But again, the thing with him, what worries me is the fact that he can't tell a good story. And maybe he's getting bad scripts or whatever it is. But either way, you got to have better script writing and better storytelling. At the end of the day, that's what makes a movie good. So if it's just a bunch of beautiful stuff going on, it does not let me become invested.
Who's now on top Prime, though?
I think the guy's still alive.
I thought the original died. I thought he died.
Maybe he didn't. I'll have to check. Let me double check real quick here. I think he's still alive, but he's definitely old. Optimus Prime. Peter Cullen. No, he's still alive.
Never mind.
He's very old, though. How old is he? He can't be young. Let's see here. He's got to be in his 80s at least. But hopefully it'll be one of those things kind of like James Earl Jones with Disney and sign his voice over to so they can continue to use it. But he's 83 years old currently. So he's definitely not getting any younger. But not only that, considering they're going to need his voice for a while here, because apparently not only is Michael Bay returning, but Paramount has apparently in production or in development 5 Transformers projects. They're not making a sequel to Transformers 1, the animated prequel, but Michael Bay's film is one of the films on the docket for development over there at Paramount. We also have a live action film from Josh Cooley, who did direct Transformers 1. So he's going to get his own live action film that he's going to direct. So that's good news to see, at least. As well as the director Stephen Caple Jr., who directed Rise of the Beast, is also set to direct potentially the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. And 2 additional projects in early stages we don't have any information on just yet. So that's 5 Transformers films in development. Now, from the same aspect of the fact that I can't understand why they bring back Michael Bay for the Transformers franchise after the last few, obviously the last 4, in my opinion, have not been very good. I can understand why Paramount chose him, though, because ever since he left, all the Transformers films have not made any money. Regardless whether you like the Bayformers films or not, they made money at the box office for the most part. Whether or not people liked them or critics liked them at all is another story. But you can't blame them there. It is a financial move, no doubt about it. So, thoughts overall on all this stuff with Transformers? Not only that, it all kind of needs to link together and tell some sort of overarching story or something, because some of it contradictory to itself, especially the last couple they did with Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. So how it's all going to work together, I don't know, but I am still intrigued by that G.I. Joe crossover, at least.
I don't understand why they just didn't pick up where Bumblebee left off, though. Bumblebee was a good movie.
Well, I always kind of look at it like Bumblebee could be a prequel to the Bayformers films or kind of the start of something new. Yeah. You know, that's kind of the way I looked at it. I know it's kind of considered a prequel, but I look at it kind of like a spinoff reboot type thing. Yeah, and I kind of always look at Rise of the Beast as a sequel to that in a way. That's why
Bumblebee was perfect for me when it comes to Transformer movies. But like, I don't get why we just didn't pick up from there.
Well, and I think that director moved on, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's what I'd have done. And in a way, I kind of look at Rise of the Beast as something like that.
Yeah, Rise of the Beast wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad. It was way better than 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Bayverse. So, not only that, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bayverse kind of contradict a little bit of the last few movies too. So again, I kind of looked at it as a reboot, and maybe Transformers 1 being the origin of that to a degree. I would still personally like, if you're going to do a great Transformers film, to me, you do a Transformers movie completely set on Cybertron. I understand that would be outrageously expensive CGI wise, but with the right story told, like the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee, where they did that, flashback. That's what I want the whole movie to be. No humans at all.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, at least G.I. Joe is a good stepping point. So looking forward to any of this, or you think it's just kind of, I don't know.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too. So I don't know if it's something I'm looking for now. I always the trailers always get me on these too. Oh, that looks fun. Then all of a sudden I'm like, why did I buy money for this or spend money on this? For sure, no doubt about it. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that ends up going for sure. Hopefully Miranda will be back in just a second. Mike said in the chat, did Eric just say he liked Bad Boys? No, anything you no. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Michael Bay directed The Rock before I sound stupid. Pretty sure. I could be wrong though. Who directed The Rock? Not the Rick. Who's the Rick? Freaking Michael Bay directed. That's what I thought. So yeah, he's had some good movies in the past, and you could argue some of those didn't have the greatest of plot lines either, like Armageddon, things like that. But
Armageddon was a movie though.
Yeah, those were entertaining though. I mean, you didn't really need a big plot other than we got to save the world. Okay, but you had good character chemistry and development, I thought, in those films. You know what I'm saying? So at least there was that. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys, the first 2 especially that Michael Bay directed.
Thoroughly enjoyed the Bad Boys series.
Yeah, so he it's not like he can't make a good film. Just for whatever reason, after that first Transformers film.
I just don't think robots are his thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the action's great. It's the stuff around it.
It's the story and everything else. That's
the toilet humor, where there's no reason to have a robot having robot testicles dangling from its crotch. There's just not. Or lubricating the man. You don't need to be doing that when you know, it's just it's I don't know. I
Especially
didn't
when they're
need that.
not supposed to be like that. Like they're
No, I mean, I'm all for comedy in my Transformers movies, but
yeah, but
that
Autobots
was
were never
like
depicted as dickheads.
that's true too. Good point. If you want to do that, at least do it with the Decepticons. I
Yeah,
get it from them, you know, no problem. But yeah, that I miss Megatron. I want to see him come back at some point too. But yeah, that's just me.
that man has been killed so many times.
I know. Bring him back one more time. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, well, let's move on to our next topic of movie news here, and we'll bring Miranda back too. Before we do that, we'll get into Mike's chat just a second too. I got to pull up the movie stuff here. All right, here we go. Mike said in the chat here, he said, by the way, Miranda saw the picture in the chat. Might just be my eyes, but looking at the color of that masked man's shirt, was his ring name El Chocolate Carmel? Or Caramel? Damn, I wish Miranda was here to see that one. Anywho, that's a good one. I like that one, Mike.
That's
El
a good one,
Chocolate
Mike.
Carmel. Yeah,
That's
Carmel
hilarious.
chocolate. Chocolate. And, how do you say chocolate in Spanish? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's terrible.
I have to show her that comment when she gets
Yeah,
back.
we'll bring it back when she comes up. And Mike said again, I may be seeing the shirt color wrong, but no, from what I can tell, yeah, he was wearing a caramel color shirt, so
gold colored shirt, yeah.
Yeah, with a little vanilla on the mask. So yeah, there you go, little whipped cream topping on the caramel.
That's wild. No,
anyway.
wait till I'll tell you what the name was and the whole gimmick.
Yeah, our viewers are like, none of this matters. But anyway, so sorry, we just don't want to out everything about Brandon here. But anywho, all right. So the next thing on the movie news items is we got the cast for the upcoming Street Fighter film officially. With a lot of names I don't recognize, like Kalina Liang as Chun-Li.
Wait,
Andrew
these are real
Koji.
cast members?
Yeah, this is
Not
a
like
real
a
cast.
wish list. Just a real
No,
cast.
this is they confirmed these from what I understand. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but from what I understand, this is the real cast. Andrew Koji as Ryu, Noah Santiero as Ken, Roman Reigns as Akuma, which is a character I'm unfamiliar with.
Are you serious?
I didn't get too. He wasn't in the character wasn't in a lot of the early games. That's where I watched Street Fighter the most.
Yes, he was.
In the early games,
He's
Street Fighter and Super Nintendo days. That's what I'm talking about. Way back. I don't think he was. Oh, this is kind of hard to see, but I'll pull up better.
Him and Ryu are connected.
Okay, well, there you go. And then Orville Peck as Vega, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Balrog. I think that's how you say his name, Balrog.
Hilarious.
Walter Goggins, we mentioned a few weeks back as M. Bison. Alan Richardson as Guile. That's going to be one big-ass
Colonel
Guile with a flat top, Colonel Guile. And Jason Momoa as Blanca, we also mentioned a few weeks back as well. And I believe
I can see Jason Momoa as Blanca.
Who was it? Also, Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki. I don't know that character either. Hibiki?
Wait, what Hibiki?
Bottom right down here.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
So yeah. So
wait,
as far
is
as
this legit the real cast here?
Yeah, as far as I know, the Hollywood Reporter is reporting it. That is a legit movie news website. So yeah, I think this is legit, dude. You probably saw this and thought it was fake.
Yeah,
I'm
because
guessing.
You're casting a guy from New York who's not Japanese or Asian at all, playing a very Japanese character.
Who? Which one we talking about?
Andrew Schultz character.
Oh, well, I don't know. Does that really surprise you in today's Hollywood, though?
No.
Like, not necessarily going with the exact.
Roman Reigns as Akuma is wild.
I've heard he's set to film in August, so it's probably going to be right after SummerSlam. He's heading to go film this. That is my assumption.
Fun fact: our dog that we used to have, his name was Kuma, but it was short because I didn't want him Akuma, so I just called him Kuma. But that's where I got the name. The first dog Miranda had, Kuma, was his name, but it was short for Akuma.
Wow. So yeah, but yeah, 50 Cent Jackson too as Balrog
is hilarious.
So that's and Jason Momoa is Blanca. That we know he's got some talent.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see it. I'd be interested if they actually cast E Honda. They've not cast him yet, so that'd be interesting to see who they would maybe
or
may not be in this movie, but
or E Honda or the big
Dazim? How do you say that guy's name? The skinny Indian. Dazim. Yeah. So they haven't done him yet either. And some of them may not be in the movie, and maybe they're in the sequel if this ends up being.
But they were like staples in Street Fighter. Dazim and
Sagat.
Sagat,
well. And he may be in here too somewhere, but I didn't see him in some of these cast listings here. But Yeah, this is all over wrestling news as well, and like I said, the
Wow.
Hollywood Reporter reported
Yeah,
it. So
yeah, okay.
it's gotta be a thing. I mean, like I said, if I'm wrong, I apologize. I may not be 100% correct on this, but
Look,
like this
you
week's
know
news
what?
was not, you know.
I will say this: Akuma kind of fits Roman's current wrestling persona.
I could see it. Can you imagine him coming out WrestleMania with like an Akuma inspired like gear or something next year? I could totally see that happening. Considering the movie does come out in 2026, I'm not sure the exact release date. But yeah, I think it does supposed to come out next year, so they got to get filming on it.
I can't wait to see Jason Momoa dressed up as fucking.
It would also explain maybe where Roman's been. Maybe he's been training for the fight sequences or whatever it might be. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So this does track.
50 Cent as Balrog is nuts.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's got. I mean, all these characters outside of Akuma, for the most part, I'm aware of. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It can't be any worse than the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which I didn't hate, mind you, for back in like the early '90s or mid '90s, whenever it came out.
Does this dude always wear a mask?
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like every picture he's in, that Orville Peck is always wearing them. If that's the case, he may fit the role just fine. You know what I'm saying? So
that Blanca is crazy though. That I mean,
did you see Jason Momoa with the big orange hair? You know, I mean, you guys saw Minecraft. I haven't seen it yet.
Hilarious. It's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, get that yellow electricity.
You got it. You have not seen that movie?
No, I've got it somewhere. I just haven't watched it yet.
Watch it. Okay.
All right.
Jason Momoa makes that movie. Like, I promise you.
He better.
Every scene he's in, hilarious.
Okay, if I do that, you got to watch Fast 10 because he makes that movie too.
Be damned.
he is hilarious to watch in that movie, though.
I heard that he is probably the best, one of the best things in that movie.
He hilarious, but also hilarious, but also terrifying.
Yeah,
to some respects. So yeah. So yeah, I forgot. Thanks, Mike. I'll bring that up too. But yeah, that's the cast of Street Fighter,
dude. Listen, Street Fighter is one of those things, and I get what you're saying, but I kind of view it the same way I viewed the Mortal Kombat movie. Was it the best movie I've ever seen? No.
No. But I am looking forward to the sequel coming out this year.
It was dope for what it was in its time, simply because it was you're talking
about the original from '95. Yeah. No, I'm talking about the new Mortal Kombat. It was okay, but I'm looking forward to the sequel. So.
No, I didn't see it. But like,
yeah, you did. We watched it together.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
The reboot.
That wasn't bad too. That was actually really good.
Just adding Cole Young to it was kind of like, all right.
Yeah, that was kind of shit.
But other than that, I didn't hate it. You know.
Yeah, but
Killing
in the Street Fighter aspect, can you get worse than what? And M. Bison. I like the M. Bison character. Who played M. Bison in that movie?
Oh, the actor passed away years ago.
He played in Addams Family too. And
you'd have to ask.
I enjoyed him as M. Bison.
But as a kid, I didn't mind that movie. But yeah, looking back on it, was not a good film.
Yeah, it wasn't the best fucking movie ever.
1994. Who did he?
Now, here's the question.
Oh, Raul Julia played M. Bison back in them.
So here's the question.
You now win. Yeah.
It's kind of the same question we had about the whole Mortal Kombat thing. The whole basis of Street Fighter is a tournament fight. You get a prize at the end. And with Mortal Kombat, it's for you're fighting for the realms or whatever. So is that going to be the premise in this? Is it going to actually be?
I don't know.
Because the first Street Fighter there was no tournament. They were doing this to stop M. Bison from taking over the world. It was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of like a stopping a dictator type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like they were doing the whole. It was like a military spy, but it was wrapped around the Street Fighter aspect. Like, that didn't make any sense.
And you could still kind of do that, but like in the original Mortal Kombat, you had to win the tournament to stop Outworld from overtaking the universe. So you could do that with a Street. We kind of do the same thing. And I hope we do know for a fact there is a tournament in the second Mortal Kombat movie coming out.
But is there going to be a tournament in this though?
That I don't know. Well, there's details are sketchy on this. Not only that, they recently had to change directors, so it's nothing. We don't have anything concrete outside of the cast just yet. So, and even that just came this week. So, but again,
crazy work though.
Like I said, I saw it first, so I thought it was fake. But once I saw the Hollywood Reporter report it, it's like when Variety reports it. They're very legitimate Hollywood source when it comes to news of what's going on with the world of movies. So I'm taking it as fact. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but for the most part, they're very reliable. So, and Collider is reporting some things like that too. So, so Roman Reigns getting a movie role, which I know he's probably going to try to transition more into leaving pro wrestling as well. So at some point, that's probably
after the story that he just pulled off for wrestling for 4 years. Take a bow, brother.
Yeah, I mean, he could join Batista, John Cena, Hogan before him, John Cena, a bunch of guys. The Rock, yeah, I don't forget The Rock. But yeah, exactly. So good luck to Roman, and hopefully it'll be successful for him, no doubt about it. Mike said, movie question: what cartoon, past or present, would you like to see a live action version of that hasn't had one, and what one do you pray to God never gets one?
Tom and Jerry.
Well, Tom and Jerry got a live action movie a couple years ago. It was a live action animated mix. But yeah, it wasn't that great. In my personal, I'm sure it was fun for kids, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Street Sharks.
A live action? Well, it'd have to be clearly
live action.
Cartoon passport, like a live action version of. Man, I mean, like I always default to Silverhawks, but no one would care nowadays. But then again, they're doing Masters of the Universe, so never say never? Question mark. But no, probably not. But even then, yeah, well, we know that's coming. We found out.
Smurfs is ass, by the way.
Well, again, Smurfs is one of those. Anytime you do this, it worked for Sonic somehow.
They ruined Smurfs, though.
I know, but anytime they do animated characters in a live action world, a lot of the times it does not work for me. Sonic
is
works.
Yeah.
Sonic is
the Pikachu detective one worked.
That one was okay. I liked it too. But for Smurfs going to live action, no. I hope they don't do Mario that way. There was a rumor at one point that it would be, Mario Worlds would go, if it's one world, fine, but go back to the animated Mushroom Kingdom or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, can you think of any other examples where that worked?
Rugrats would be dope.
I mean, it kind of all started with.
You're talking about, man. I just love Rugrats. Rugrats was great. Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah, I mean, the animation live action hybrid kind of started with Who Framed Roger Rabbit way back in the day, which was a cinematic success back in those days. I remember seeing that on the theater, going, they made that work. Yeah, that worked.
Yeah,
but
that was a good one.
Nowadays, it's just like, hey, let's throw the Smurfs in New York.
Yeah, Smurfs one. They ruined Smurfs, and I hate it. Like,
yeah,
all of the Smurf movies are ass to me. Like,
Papa Smurf, a pimp, by the way. How else do you explain that? You know what I'm saying? Just saying. But anyway,
I don't know, man. Like, I don't have faith that any of the, I guess, quote unquote, like old cartoons that we grew up with. I mean, think about it. Transformers is a great example.
I'd still want a good version of G.I. Joe, but
yeah. Or hell, if you're gonna do Masters of the Universe, why not do come on,
Voltron?
No, that would be good too.
Which we talked about is coming though.
Was it Thundercats? Jesus.
I thought I heard somewhere that was actually a rumor, but I don't know how true it is.
Thundercats would be. I think
that's like the last of the uber popular ones, probably. To be done. I'd still like to see him expand on Beast Wars and Transformers too. They touched a little on it, but
Beast Wars is probably one of my favorite.
Was never really used much in that movie. So I mean, I'd like to see more, no doubt about it. So I don't know. When it comes to would pray to God they never make, I don't know. Live action Fraggle Rock. That'd be terrible. I mean, that's not really an animated thing, but
you remember the snorkel cartoon? They had like the little fucking snorkels on the top of their heads. Like, it's not. I can't remember the name of it. Hold on. Is it called Snorkel? I used to watch that too.
Oh yeah, I remember that too, Mike. He said in the chat. Fun fact: back in the late '80s, early '90s, there was a Super Mario Brothers Super Show that had a cartoon and live action. Lou Albano played Mario in the live action.
Yeah, I remember that was different. Like that worked because it transitioned from
to the animated show
to the actual animated cartoon. The Mario Brothers were just like the host of a show about the Mario Brothers.
Here's our adventures. Check them out. Here's an animated short.
And it was animated.
Yeah, man. Speaking of movies, I know it's got a cult following but that old Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins, speaking to him from Roger Rabbit, awful. Sorry, it sucks, bro. John Leguizamo's Luigi.
Oh,
sucks.
God, yeah.
I know a lot of people like that movie as like a.
And
like
the
a cult following.
Goombas were fucking weird looking.
Terrible though compared to the stuff we could do. I mean, anyway,
Double Dragon was another one.
That could be interesting.
No, that movie was not good.
Well, no. I mean, if done properly, could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot they actually made a movie on that.
Yeah, they did.
Jean-Claude Van. It wasn't Jean-Claude Van Damme, was it?
No. Oh, who was?
He could have made. I could see him easily doing that back in the day, though.
No,
you know,
he was busy doing other things. He played Guile, for God's sake.
What was that? Yeah, that's what he played. I couldn't remember. Yeah, I think that's what he played. Yeah. But anyway, I hope Alan Richardson rocks that flat top. By the way, let's go for it. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it work. You gotta same with Mortal Kombat. Go for it. Like GI Joe. Yeah, and then flat. You know, but GI Joe, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, go for the goofy look, but make it serious and action packed. And yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, let's go for the look. But anyway. God. That's great. That's memory road. All right. Well, we got a few things when it comes to rapid fire, so let's hit that. All right. Oh, yeah. Before we move on too far, Mike's it's blowing up my phone. He wanted me to make sure Miranda saw the chat about his luchador. Apparently, Miranda, he saw the picture in the chat, and Mike said it might just be his eyes, but looking at the color of that masked man shirt, was his ring name El Chocolate Carmel? Or Chocolate? No. Or no. He's dying to know the name of this luchador that Brandon played in pro wrestling now.
Good town, babe.
I shit you not. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna type it in the chat. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's in the chat, the world goes, oh, you mean the private chat. Brandon's like uber sensitive with it. That's okay. I ain't gonna force him to do it, but yeah. So
you want me to say it?
No, his name, because there was a wrestler, a luchador on the Indies. His name, I just took his name and added something to it. But his name was El Drunko Negro. He was a black luchador from Mexico.
That's not too terrible. I thought it was gonna be way worse.
I had a finisher. It was the Michinoku driver, which I called it the drunk driver. And I passed out damn near I won a drinking contest for the shot to win tag titles.
So you were El Chocolate Carmel.
Yeah.
In a way.
I came out El Chocolate Carmel. The theme song of Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison.
Was you drinking Dos Equis?
No, I was no tequila.
Works. Yeah. El Chocolate Carmel.
Shut up.
He said in the chat, buys. Yeah, that's gold, man. What are you talking about? That's great.
Yeah,
yeah, and he should have been like he was when he come out. It was like he was a fucking stripper.
Yeah. Oh, the women loved it. The women loved it. They loved it, bro.
All right, now we jumped the shark. We were good.
They did. Yeah. Like legitimately, they loved it, and like that character was well received as opposed to my actual character. Everybody fucking hated him, which was fine. They were supposed to.
Yeah, I have a picture of that too.
El Drunko. They fucking loved El Drunko. Like I'd come out dancing and high-fiving and get it. Yeah, the drunk driver was my finisher. And I
remember one time thunder, he said.
Yeah.
That's right. He brought it all.
Yeah, but yeah, they loved it.
Oh man, that's
women love that shit.
That's terrifying. Yeah, if you ever get that wrestling ring in your backyard, maybe not go to that old gimmick.
Hey, brother, I hit you with the drunk driver.
No.
Safe move right there. Yeah, my shoulders. I shit you not. After I did that after I hoisted up Seth, that next day, my shoulders were killing me.
I bet you were. Yeah, he put him up in like a GTS position, upside down. Yeah, inverted GTS. Yeah.
Shot.
Oh, I feel for
if I would have had a ring, if there was a place to land, I would have done the full move. I'd have bumped him out and everything. But I was not bumping on that ground. I'm not doing it.
No, he even landed on his feet. He's like, I ain't doing it.
I told him to. I told him, I said, I'm going to flip you. Just land on your feet. You'll be fine. And he's like, all right. because I was like, you can't move. So when I put him up on my shoulders and I go, I'm gonna put you down. He goes, no, just finish the move. I said, you can't move then. One, you don't know how to take this, so I'm not doing it. And I'm not bumping on this ground. So because it's literally like a pile driver. There's no way Seth knows how to take a pile driver. And I'm not gonna do it. So I was like, nah, I'm not bumping, neither are you. So I just tossed him over. But man, these right here, after I did that shit, when I woke up the next day, I was like, God.
Let's remember, El Chocolate del Caramel, he'll melt your mouth, not in your hand. So that's
wild. That's
it sounds like a fragrance. El Chocolate del Caramel. Anyway. Anyway, terrible.
I wish you never showed him that fucking picture, because if that's, I'm not.
You're lucky I haven't showed it yet. I've been awful tempted.
You're the one that said you bustled in a mask. I had to prove you right.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
You could have
mouth shut
just show me in the mask.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that the shirt color was gonna send Mike over the edge.
Yeah, it must be working for him over there. Yeah,
I was just trying to show the difference that, like, that's not Chad Gable, because it was somebody else under a mask. You don't know who's under that mask just because it looks like somebody else. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to send the other pictures so they can see the difference?
No, we're fine.
Okay.
We'll move on.
See me in my wrestling gear though, because I wore it to work.
Yeah, I'll see.
Halloween. Yeah.
Pretty dope. So yeah, when it comes to moving on a little bit from that, we got a couple quick movie news items I want to get to. Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune and the Dune sequel, is now been officially tapped to direct the next James Bond film for Amazon.
I thought we were moving on from James Bond.
No, Amazon bought them. They haven't done anything with them yet. So James Bond is going to become one of their staple franchises. What are you talking about? Yeah, Amazon's going to get their crack at it. It's the first time they've not been owned by the Broccoli family. So, yeah, James Bond's getting a full reboot and stuff, which we kind of knew was coming anyway with Daniel Craig not coming back.
So we're doing a younger Bond or what?
It certainly seems like it. I know a lot of people have been wanting Henry Cavill to become the next James Bond, which, to be quite honest, he'd probably be my first choice.
He could pull it off.
Be one bulky James Bond. He's a little older, I think, than they want to the next Bond to be, because apparently Amazon is looking for an actor under the age of 30. So the popular choices like Idris Elba would be the first Black James Bond is not going to be a thing. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Henry Cavill has been the top front-runners by fans for a lot of years. But since they want a new actor under the age of 30, sounds like they're going young. As of right now, Amazon's casting wish list for who should play the next James Bond reportedly includes Tom Holland of Spider-Man fame, and a couple guys I've never personally heard of, Jacob Elordi and Harris Dickinson. That comes from Variety. So that's
you're asking me. Which one would be Bond? You can throw out Tom Holland.
Yeah, I always thought that Tom Holland had too much of a baby face for it to work.
Yeah,
but if you're going flat out baby face in general,
serious though.
I know, but of these three, I think he'd be the best looking one.
Man, I would say the guy at the bottom.
I don't mean to interrupt, but real quick, the bill has passed. It's advancing to the Senate.
Oh, okay. So they're going to actually vote on it. Okay, we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Yes, that's good to hear. So, but yeah, so you don't think
the guy at the bottom? The guy at the bottom looks more like a Bond to me, but I can also see the guy at the top. What's the guy at the top's name?
Well, I think it's Jacob Elordi. I don't know if it's in any particular order here, but it's either Jacob Elordi or Harris Dickinson. But yeah, I'm not, like I said, I don't know either one of those two. So
they look like they could fit more than Tom Holland, because it's hard for me to picture Tom Holland playing anything other than Peter Parker. Playing
somebody smooth like James Bond. Yeah. Like he comes off as the quirky, or because again, he's most known for Spider-Man, but not saying he can't do it. But
you're right. I shouldn't say, because that's limiting his range, and you want to see what else they could do. But like, I don't know, man.
If I had to choose, I wouldn't want him to be so young. That's because not to me. It's like this is an agent who's supposed to eventually get a license to kill, but he may not even have a license to drive if he's so young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I like the idea of a young Bond. Like, we're talking like mid-20s. I guess.
But if you're talking about if we're going to see Bond before he becomes the James Bond that we know, why not? And if you're going to build a series off of that, then this is prudent for you to start with a Bond that is going through the MI6 train. Is it MI6?
Mhm.
No.
Yes. Yeah, MI6. Yep.
Training and all that to become what you see, the Bond that you know of. I mean, this is the waiting for you to get the early stages of Q and all this other shit with the gadgets and all this other stuff. Like, to get to see how MI6 got built up behind Bond. It's kind of like what they were trying to do with the Continental for John Wick. You know what I mean?
Even though I think MI6 has been around for a long time. But yeah, I see your point. I don't know. It could work that way. I mean, we already kind of saw how Bond became Bond as a character with Daniel Craig's version.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to go back deep into the history of MI6, I'm sure that'd be okay. But I don't know. Do you just think a young actor would pull that off though? And it depends on how long you want
they
this
say
actor
in
to
his
play
30s.
Bond.
They don't want him to be like young, super young. So in his 30s, you could put it
under 30, under 30,
under 30.
Yeah. But now if it's an actor you want to play the role for years to come, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I mean, he's already playing Spider-Man for a lot of years. You think he wants to jump into yet another series where he's got to play the same character for next 10, 15 years? So I don't know. I mean, maybe it may not be Tom Holland.
Sometimes those series are what makes an actor too. So
not to mention Tom Holland has been taking a lot of time off from Spider-Man alone. You think he's not going to want to break from Bond? Not only that, he's still contracted to be Spider-Man for quite a while still.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if he would be the guy, because now he's talked about how he wants to live his life too. Which I don't begrudge him for doing. So I don't know if it's going to be him. He'd probably be the one not on the top list in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I would love to see Idris Elba as a Bond. Like, that'd be.
Yeah, again, yes, but that's the one thing we've not really seen is like that. Not really that older, more grizzled James Bond either. So Henry Cavill or an Idris Elba would work for that. You may not be able to get a whole lot of movies out of them, maybe three or four, but but yeah, I mean, shoot, action stars nowadays they get older and older and still able to pull it off. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. But yeah, if you're building a whole universe around it, like you said, maybe it is more prudent to go young. But that's where we stand as of right now. Also, Disney is apparently already developing a sequel to the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake. It is officially in the work, as the first live-action adaptation of the animated film is now tracking to pass $1 billion at the worldwide box office. So even though a lot of movies at theaters nowadays do not make money, every now and then you get those diamonds in the rough, and sometimes Disney do produce those with Moana 2, now live-action Lilo and Stitch. So yeah, a sequel was inevitable here. I don't know if it'll be based off of like any of the like sequel live action or sequel Lilo and Stitch stuff, or if it'll be a whole new story, kind of like the live action Lion King adaptation was. I don't know, but time will tell. But yeah, looks like we're getting more Stitch in the future here with Lilo. This one? Not yet, but I need to ask my sister and niece if they seen it, because I guarantee you they did. But from all accounts I heard, it's not too bad. So hopefully it ends up being.
I just wonder if it was a 1-to-1 with the movie, the original.
I think for the most part, from what I read, it was, but may not be completely. But yeah, let's see here. We'll get to that in just a second. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about, obviously, we've talked about how the Batman 2 has been taking a long time for DC to get that script. Well, apparently Matt Reeves and Mattson Tomlin, one of the writers, is now they officially turned in the Batman 2 script. So we officially have a script for the film that is set to come out in October 2027 at this point. So whether this Batman ends up becoming a part of the overall bigger DCU, we don't know yet. From all accounts, according to James Gunn, it won't be, but maybe he's kind of lying to not throw people off the scent, so to not reveal it yet. But as of right now, Robert Pattinson's Batman script for the sequel is officially completed. So that is great to see at the end of the day. So thoughts on all those movie news items? Anything else you want to talk about there?
As long as they don't fuck this Batman up, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want to screw that up either. When it comes to movie releases this weekend, F1, starring Brad Pitt, is officially in theaters. Now that you guys have been at the Indy 500, you might be kind of interested in some of this with that Formula One racing. Yeah. And before we come back on for the podcast in 3 weeks, Jurassic World Rebirth will release in theaters next week for the July 4th weekend. And in 2 weeks' time, Superman will be releasing on July 11th as well.
So Superman comes out on our anniversary.
On your anniversary. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I do want to see that, and I do want to see the Jurassic World movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
from all accounts I've heard so far, Superman is like Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve on steroids. They're saying it's definitely 180 degrees different than what Henry Cavill's Superman was. But that does not necessarily mean it is uber campy. There are jokes in the film, which is fine. It's a comic book film. That's perfectly fine. But a lot of people are saying it's good. There's a few people out there saying it's not real good, but for the most part, I'm hearing nothing but praise. And Jurassic World Rebirth, I'm hearing it's basically, you've seen a lot of it in the trailer already. You pretty much know all the major sequences. But at the same time, that does not necessarily mean it's bad per se. But I'm hearing kind of it's a little bit more of the same that we've already seen a little bit before. So I don't know if it's going to fully reinvent the wheel. Now, I could be wrong. I've not seen any of these movies. I do plan on checking them out. And maybe by the time we come back for the podcast in a few weeks, I can give you my thoughts on them there. Probably not spoiler because I don't want to ruin it for people out there and all that. But yeah. But I am looking forward to those. You guys looking forward to seeing Superman anyway?
Yeah, I want to see Superman.
We talked about doing that anyway. Maybe we can do that sometime. No doubt about it. Because if it's good, I'll want to see it multiple times. It's my most anticipated movie of the year. Mike in the chat said, I got a question for Brandon Miranda when we finish the rapid fire segment. So here we go. What is the absolutely strangest thing one of your kids has done or asked you if they could do? Elliston used to, one of his little girls, and lately has tried a couple of times lately to smell his armpits. She used to do it in a sneaky way and says it smells good. Little nut job needs help. Okay. I don't disagree there. I mean, that's a little weird.
Anytime anybody would fart, he would go, I want to smell it. And he'd be like, get away from me.
I had an infatuation with my elbow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't think she was ever going to give it up.
Yeah. Like anytime Miranda
it had to be straight and it had to be the loose skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She would just hold it. Like
didn't you say that she had to sleep? Right, yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Unless Miranda was holding her or she had her elbow, and she would literally ask her, like, if Anaya was tired and she was sleepy, she would go, Mommy, elbow, elbow. And then she would get her bottle, her blanket, and lay next to Miranda just so she could hold her weenus. That's what it's called.
Really? That's a technical term?
That is the technical term.
I did not know that. You learn something every day. Yeah.
Jaden? I don't know, man. Jaden was weird all the way around.
Yeah, he's weird. I swear, Jaden is an old man.
Yes. Young kid's body.
Yeah.
Yes. Jaden, you know what? The only weird thing, and I don't want to say it's weird, his blanket. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but I don't think he uses that brown blanket that much anymore.
No, he doesn't. I think he's finally let go of that thing. But for years.
But he's got like 18 pillows and 16 blankets because he will use his air conditioner all winter long.
Yes.
Ooh.
But there was a time in his life where that blanket did not leave his side. No matter where we went, where we were going, what we were doing, that blanket was, he would take, and it's not like a small little baby blanket. No, it's a big ass fucking blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And because he would only sleep because one of the corners of the blanket, it had like a hole in the seam, right, in the corners, and he would stick his finger in there, and that's how he fall asleep. So he had to have that blanket, and he would look for that corner too. It wasn't like he would search around until he found it, boop, put his finger in it, and he was out.
It's just crazy to think that this is not unusual. I mean, kids do this sort of thing all the time. I mean, my nephew had similar. I mean, it's just crazy to think about that. They need that little bit of I don't know if it's like a security type thing. Yeah, security blanket. Literally.
I'm sure our parents would tell you there was some shit that we did that was out of pocket, but
and your scent she's your daughter. Your scent is comforting to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I wonder if Jaden would get too upset if I called him Linus the next time I seen him.
He'll probably kill you.
Probably.
We just told you and everybody else about this blanket situation.
Yeah, he ain't ever watched probably.
He's got a very dry sense of humor.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know who
the fuck. It's got to be like funny.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Because like you'll say something funny to Jaden, and he'll just look at you and go, "Oh, okay." And you're like, what the fuck? Like, nothing? He's like, no, it was funny. You didn't laugh, though. Oh, yeah. And then he moves on. Like,
yeah. But if he finds something funny, you might not find funny either.
Lord Jesus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If he finds
Yeah.
something funny,
And you're
yeah.
like, what? Anyway.
he goes, it's funny to me. Like, all right, man.
We'll indulge Mike here because we are going to move into news and politics here in just a second. But proud daddy and mommy moment, though. The twins have, as of today, discovered they love anchovies just like their parents. So proud. Ew. No
Ew.
offense, but I can't stand anchovies.
I
on
will
pizza.
say this. Anaya,
I won't even touch it.
of all my kids, Anaya is the only one I think who has the love for certain foods that I do. Like sardines. I love sardines. My stepdad did. He ate them all the time, and like when I was younger, I was like, those would look disgusting.
Wait, she's eating those?
Yeah, she ate some with me before. Me and Anaya have both. Sushi was something I didn't think the kids would like, but Jackson also and Anaya, Jaden, negative. And join me in that aspect. I think like Anaya would be the one though. If I'm going to try something, she'd be like, all right, let's see what it tastes like. You know, she's with me in that. So Jackson would be down to cook it with me 100%.
But he
ain't eating that shit. Jackson be like, I'll help you prepare it, but you got it after that.
Well, I'll say, Mike, you said your twins have. If you get the youngest one to like it too, then you really got a trifecta there. But I'll say this too, even though I said ooh about anchovies, I'm also the one who likes pineapple on my pizza. A lot of people think that's sacrilegious.
I like pizza. Anchovies is the thing that's wrong on pizza. They ruin a pizza. You get it? Like the oil and from an anchovy. First of all, they're salty as shit. It permeates the whole thing. Even if you get a piece that has no anchovies on it, it's going to taste like anchovies. You know what I'm saying? Pineapple on pizza, it provides a sweet,
yeah,
to go with the savory aspect of a pizza, the cheese, the sauce. So I don't understand that shit. Pineapple is great on fucking pizza.
My favorite pizza is hold the onion. But some people just use this with onion on it too. But barbecue sauce instead of tomato sauce for the pizza, grilled chicken, bacon, and pineapple.
Yeah.
Outstanding stuff right there.
Yeah, a backyard barbecue chicken Hawaiian pizza. Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, that's why they usually have the onion
too. But Hawaiian pizzas are fire too. But the pineapple and chicken, awesome.
Ham and pineapple is the one that most people got to go to when it comes to pineapple, but that's what got me started on it. That's good too. But yeah, you get the grilled chicken and bacon and yeah, it's good stuff right there. So yeah, don't knock it till you try it. I know a lot of people don't like that too, but
I'm knocking anchovies because I ain't never tried it.
Well, he probably don't like pineapple, so I don't know. But anyway,
pineapple and anchovies. You eat pineapple and anchovies. There's a cold dark room somewhere.
It's like Ninja Turtle said. Like Ninja Turtle said, I think it's Michelangelo's. You put anchovies on this thing, we're going to have big trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
If the turtles want to eat it, neither should you.
Yeah. By the way, bring back that 30 minutes or you don't get paid rule. I like that.
Oh man, 30 minutes or it's free, brother.
Yeah, 30 minutes or less. Yeah, that's what it should be. You know. But now it's like, no, we'll get to you in an hour and a half. We're busy. Yeah. I was hungry an hour ago. Anyway.
As a person that delivers things to people. I really appreciate addresses clearly marked on mailboxes.
Yeah,
I've even put like in little notes on like my DoorDash. That says because we've got some apartments here that have like the odd number apartments and even number apartments, and I live in the odd numbers, but it has the same like this to this number. So I have literally in the comments, I'll write, I'm literally the one right behind this building. So they know exactly which one it is. Otherwise, and I've still had some people deliver to the wrong down the street. And I have to go walk and pull it. You know, I feel like I'm stealing somebody else's food. But yeah, I can totally understand. How imagine being a delivery driver back in the day without GPS.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine how hard that would have been?
We still did it though. Like it was still.
I know. I mean, it wasn't as easily accessible as it is now.
No,
a lot of people went and picked it up too.
I still remember when GPSs became a thing that you could put in your car. You had to go buy a TomTom. Like you had to go purchase this fucking thing that you didn't have to mount in your car. It wasn't on your phone. It was a
I saw the 2016 Road Atlas today. The big book. Remember the big map book?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I saw one today, and I want to buy one.
I remember going to
like I drove all around town today, like all around the Bloomfield's huge, but it's all backwards. And
that was
hills.
even harder.
I felt like I was in the national forest, but I have no idea how to get there without getting.
That'd be harder in the country. Definitely, things are not clearly marked, like you said. I mean that makes it tougher. So sure. But yeah, I mean, before TomToms though, I remember going like on Yahoo or Google and having to print the directions on a page that had like turn left here, the next turn right at this thing.
Mile markers and shit. You had to learn how to read mile markers. You had to look out for certain landmarks and shit that were marked on these maps or written down, you know what I mean, like on the paper. And like fucking crap. Going to Geauga Lake from where we lived, you had to follow mile markers when you got off to even find. Then now you're looking for street names and all this other shit. Like, God.
Kids today don't understand how good they got it in that regard. I always tell some of the kids we work with, I call them kids, they're like in their mid-20s. I always tell them, like, you know, you kids today don't get it. You know, certain things, just because they're newer doesn't make them better. But in this case, GPS is better. For certain. So
I had this discussion too about around the same lines, and it was something we had seen. How did it go? I can't remember how it went now. I'll have to find the video and I'll send it to you in the chat. But like, this dude had said, if you were born in the 80s and lived through the 90s, you have lived through, what was it?
The greatest generation, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was this other one where they were like, somebody posed a question. Did your parents actually let you guys just go out into the world for hours with no community? Yes.
Like, go down the road, come home when the lights on, when the street light comes on.
The street, and everybody in the comments who left a comment was like, "Yeah, you guys had to be home before the street lights came on." See,
and for you kids, the street lights still do this. When it gets dark, they turn on.
Yes, okay, so your ass better be home by the time
it's dinner. It's dinner time, and you ain't missing dinner time. Okay,
like, brother, my mom said be home when the street lights came home. She didn't mean come walking in the door as the lights were on. She meant, Brandon, when you see that first fucking flicker of light kick on, and this is at dusk here.
Well, in a way that's a little unfair, because it's not like
my ass
on the street going, "Where's the light? Quick, watch the
light."
light.
My ass was at the crib, like I'm at the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not getting in otherwise, because she's going to bed. So, and
I'd have given it a half hour at least. You know. A little, just because. Again, are you sitting on the curb staring at the light the whole time? No, you're probably in the woods.
I'm out playing football or
digging a hole. I don't know,
blocks over,
building a fort. You know what I mean? You know, we had to play in dirt. You know, that's what we had. No, we had no cell phones.
But we
no internet.
In the summertime, I'm telling you, in summer when school break let out for that summer, I saw my mom the day we got out of school. I came home, changed out of my school clothes, and then I disappeared. And I was gone. By Saturday morning, she'd wake up, she'd see me in enough time to get some breakfast, and I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Like, we disappeared into the world.
Well, and that's the weird thing. Like, people now you do that, you get kidnapped. But back in the day, especially if you lived in a small neighborhood, mom and dad were like, "Yo, go outside, come home when it's dark."
Yeah.
Part of that's
my mom used to get mad at me because we'd walk all the way across town in the daylight, and then at dark, I didn't want to walk home, so she'd have to come pick us up.
Brother, we disappeared. Like,
how we survived, I don't know, but
me either. I think about that
out in the ether, brother. Out in the ether. Just gone.
Yeah. Mike said he was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s, also grew up in the country, no cable, no satellite, rotary phone, loading hay in 100-degree heat. Good times. I don't know about that last part.
But listen, rotary phones is an old shout. Like, when we got...
Have you ever seen those videos of kids trying to work them out?
Oh my Lord, yeah. Have you ever seen the videos of the kids who don't know what a payphone is?
Yeah.
Sad world.
There's really not a whole lot of that.
Getting in trouble. My aunt or my mom made me go stay with my aunt for a couple weeks. She that was country.
We've officially
Some big-
crossed that line to where we've got to the point where everybody's gonna be like, "You old fogies, you know, you don't understand how the kids today," because now we're like, back in my day, you know. But
Brother,
Well,
there
that's
was
why
no
my kids
coming
don't do
out.
shit. Like I done did it all, and I know what you're up to. So you ain't getting away with
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
another
parents.
video I seen today, and it was like when your kid does something bad, but you don't yell at them because you remember that you did the same thing, and like we were like, yeah, but it's like a less severity. Like when I did something, like if the kids do something now, and I'm like, oh yeah, all right, I remember being in their shoes, but mine was way worse. You know what I mean? Like what I did was far worse. So you can go ahead and get this. That's how you live. But like I remember we go outside and like legit, my mom would have the air on in the house. You're not opening that door. One, you ain't letting her air outside. Like that's not happening.
We ain't
So I'm
going to
trying
heat up the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cool off all outside, Brandon. So like
Yeah.
if you wanted to drink, hose on the side of the house, and you turn it on and you wait
Hose.
for it to get. You know what I'm saying?
No
Don't take the
filter.
first drink. That's gonna be hot water. You gotta wait a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
No
Let it
filters.
Yeah, just you out. It's like you
Yeah.
and like 4 other people outside sharing this hose.
Drinking from the same hose too. Now I try my best not to put my like mouth on the nozzle or anything, but it's still, yeah, wasn't the most sanitary thing in the world. Mike said, "I want a reality show where teens have to try and survive with only 80s technology." Buys. I'm down with this. Let's pitch it to
Ooh.
Amazon or somebody, anybody,
Ooh.
please, or not even just like out in the woods or anything. Just see them
No,
interacting
in a
with stuff from way
neighborhood.
back when.
There you
Yeah.
go. Just use AI and make your video.
No cell
Yeah.
phones, no internet.
You don't even
Yeah.
need actors.
Yeah.
You got to use your imagination and the tools you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real survival right there.
Yeah, go
I mean-
find a green electric box to sit on and see if something don't happen.
Cast
Just
Castaway, the home game. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's ridiculous. All right, well, we got a few bits of news and politics to get into. I know Brandon or Mike's probably going to check out here for sure. Brandon may check out like emotionally. I don't know, but anyhow,
fucking ice cream truck.
yeah.
Man, yeah, never mind.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden's the one chasing the ice cream truck, but anyhow,
I seen that. It was like,
89
what flavor was
toys
you
of-
drinking? I was like, all right.
Yeah, 80s toys. He says, yeah. Those are the legit little action figures and stuff. Yeah, forget that
Mhm.
internet crap, tablets and stuff. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'd have loved to have it when I was a kid, but not going to happen. All right, well, let's get into the news and politics, and we'll big Micah do a little before here in because I got a video to share here. So here we go.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like 2 kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have
get
to use
stuff.
strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
The NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
Do you
He did
find-
it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do?
Make America great again.
So yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, Daddy is indeed home. So
I
yes,
wish you could play the video that the White House posted.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
and actually, I was going to, but that music would have gotten us in so much trouble.
I know. I hate
I'm hoping.
YouTube.
I don't think the movie clip there, it was so short. I don't think it will. So we've done like Ace Ventura clips and things here before, but yeah, I tried to make it quick. But yeah, the music stuff. But yeah, but the White House put out a great video of him before he, I guess, attending the NATO stuff this weekend with Daddy's home and stuff like that. So yeah, Mike says, so as I crash this, there's no show for 3 weeks. July 10th will officially be 25 years for me at work. Had both good and bad times, but considering the crap hike I was in before. Oh, crap crap heap. I don't know what you're trying to say, but he's very blessed with the job he has. Yeah, I agree, and I'm coming up on my 20 years as well in July. So congratulations to you, as I'm sure you wish me the same. So and those of you out there who have been in a job for a long time, you know what it takes to stick it out through the good and the bad times, no doubt about it. So yeah, but and congrats to Eric, as I know you'll hit 20. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that as well. So hopefully that'll come with a nice, good little pay raise there. I don't know if it'll be more than normal, but it'll be kind of nice to have anyway. So yeah, Mike, yeah, Brandon's shaking his head though. But yes, again, this has been an outstanding week for MAGA and Donald Trump, and a terrible week for Trump haters and haters of America in general. It started off a bit rocky, but it ended pretty great. And at the end of the day, Daddy's got this, ladies and gentlemen. And in retaliation for the Trump nuclear site bombing last Saturday, Iran launched a strike on U.S. air bases in Qatar, or Qatar, however it's pronounced these days. All of the missiles fired were intercepted and destroyed, and no lives were lost. Iran, however, claimed they destroyed the United States base, though. In reality, the United States evacuated those bases. Iran threw a few firecrackers so they could say that they retaliated to their people. That is the truth of the matter here. This was a face-saving move by Iran. Iran even gave advance notice to the United States before making the strike to minimize casualties. Just like after the United States killed Iranian General Soleimani in 2020 under Trump's leadership, this isn't war. This isn't even an escalation. This is barely a retaliation. And if this is all they're going to do, then this fight is already over. We have seen this before from the Iranians as well. So yeah, this right here just kind of talks about how the Iranian officials confirm what they said. The plan for Iran gave notice to Qatari officials that the attacks were coming to minimize casualties. Officials said Iran symbolically needed to strike at the United States, but at the same time carry it out in a way that allowed all sides an exit ramp in the war. They described it as a similar strategy to when, like I said, when Trump took out Soleimani. So again, Iran was not looking to escalate this with these retaliations against the United States. It was only to show that they, are strong to their people and their propagandic lies to the people that they govern. So did you have any other thoughts on that? This, to me, was peace through strength by Donald Trump on this part, for sure. Yeah. Agreed. So Mike had one more comment. He said, we'll see you all in 3 weeks. Good night, all, especially to El Chocolate del Caramel, wherever you are. So no doubt about it anyway. Good to see you, buddy. See you in 3 weeks' time.
To be honest with you.
Absolutely. No doubt. So yeah, in my opinion, Trump 1, Iran and the panicans here in the United States 0. So much for that prolonged war you all were worried about last week, eh?
The Hodge twins really, I don't know if you watch them, keep up with them.
A little.
Them and Cat Turd all last week got back.
We're going to get it. We're going to get into World War III. Trump, this is not what we voted for. And now they look foolish.
Yeah.
And we mentioned him a little in passing last week too. It's like,
yeah,
Rob Schneider was another one who kind of went off on the rails there in Hollywood, who's a Trump supporter too. But yeah, this is officially, and like I said, it started a little rocky. I'm not going to lie to you. This week started a little rocky after this happened because, there's a whole ceasefire thing, which we're going to get into in just a second. But yeah, I mean, but this right here is peace through strength. It's personified. And because of those bombings and stuff that took place, Iran and Israel are now not fighting. So again, trust, Daddy's got this, so to speak. CNN, though, MSNBC, New York Times, they claimed via their sources, which they never conveniently name who says it, by the way, that the attacks were not effective against Iran. Top secret information was given out by a leaker. It got blasted by the Trump administration. You know how I know that CNN is lying about this, though? These media outlets are the same fake news that just last week before the bombing were saying Trump doesn't need to take action because Iran is still years away from a nuclear bomb. And now, after the bombing, they say that Iran has only been set back by a few months from getting a bomb. So they're now closer to getting a bomb after the attack than before? Legitimately, that's what they're saying. Can you make sense of that one to me?
No.
Yeah. Here's Secretary Pete Hegseth, or Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, going over what happened with this supposed leaker who leaked out that this information that was the bombing was not effective. Here's their explanation of it.
Fake news, CNN, MSNBC, or the New York Times. There's been fawning coverage of a preliminary assessment. I've had a chance to read it. Every outlet has breathlessly reported on a preliminary assessment from DIA. I'm looking at it right now. Again, it was preliminary, a day and a half after the actual strike, when it admits itself in writing that it requires weeks to accumulate the necessary data to make such an assessment. It's preliminary. It points out that it's not been coordinated with the intelligence community at all. There's low confidence in this particular report. It says in the report there are gaps in the information. It says in the report multiple linchpin assumptions are what this assessment, a linchpin assumption, you know what that is? That means your entire premise is predicated on a linchpin. If you're wrong, everything else is wrong. And yet, and still, this report acknowledges it's likely severe damage. Again, this is preliminary, but leaked because someone had an agenda to try to muddy the waters and make it look like this historic strike wasn't successful. I'm going to get to the chairman in a moment because he's going to lay out the particulars for you based on his professional military experience. But here's what other folks are saying. The DIA that put that report out says this is a preliminary low confidence report and will continue to be refined as additional intelligence becomes available. How about the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission? The devastating U.S. strikes on Fordo destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility inoperable. Have any of these quotes made their way into the New York Times or the Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN? Any of these quotes? How about this one? This is a new one from the UN, the United Nations. No friend of the United States, or certainly Israel often. Here's the head of the UN Atomic Energy Agency this morning, Rafael Grossi. U.S. and Israeli strikes caused enormous damage to Iran's nuclear sites. Don't take my word for it. How about the IDF's chief of staff? I can say here that the assessment is that we significantly damaged the nuclear program, setting it back by years. I repeat, years. The Iranian foreign minister, the spokesman, our nuclear installations have been badly damaged, that's for sure.
Iran
I'm
even
sure
said
that's
it.
an understatement. John Radcliffe, the director of the CIA, putting out a statement just last night. CIA can confirm that a body of credible intelligence indicates Iran's nuclear program has been severely damaged by recent targeted strikes. This includes new intelligence from a historically reliable, very different than preliminary assessment with low confidence. He's saying historically reliable and accurate source and method that several key Iranian nuclear facilities were destroyed and would have to be rebuilt over the course of years. CIA continues to collect additional reliably sourced information.
So there you go. I mean, from even mentioned in there from Iran themselves said it was badly damaged. So this media trying to push this hoax that it was ineffective is a lie. Flat out. But, you know, fake news is going to fake news, I suppose. If the attack wasn't effective, why did Iran come back to the table to negotiate a ceasefire?
And part of the deal is if they ever even think about trying to build a nuke again, Trump will destroy them.
Mm-hmm. They would have to wait till after Trump's gone for sure. And hopefully whoever comes in next, J.D. Vance, will hopefully keep this rolling. Mm-hmm. Let's hope. But Trump announced that he negotiated a ceasefire. Israel and Iran broke the ceasefire initially, although both sides were given hours for some reason to wrap up their campaigns. There was some confusion about when the ceasefire actually started, and both sides letting their previous missions play out. Trump was very frustrated, even dropping another bomb. This time it was an F-bomb that you saw earlier at the beginning of the segment. So, yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird, though. It's like, all right, well, Iran's got, 12 hours, and then after that, 12 hours after that, Israel will be done. So it's almost like they were like phasing this out a little bit, but it's like, why didn't everybody just stop? I don't know how that all works, but to me, it was a little weird about when this actually started. So when they kind of retaliated against each other, I was like, well, is it into effect yet or not? But then Trump comes out the next morning and says, yeah, they both broke it. So it's kind of hard to tell what was going on there initially. But ever since though, the ceasefire has been completely holding. So, and it's been about a week now. So it's no more fighting between the two. But I got to say, though, to play devil's advocate here, and I don't know why this keeps making it small. I'm going to fix this a little bit, bring it up a little bit here. But anyway, to play devil's advocate, this is why I don't know. And I want to get Miranda's thoughts on this. I don't know if I buy the theory that Israel runs the United States, that everybody else is saying, and she may disagree with me. That's why I want to hear her thoughts on it, and that's totally fine. Because, and this is kind of what I'm thinking here, Obama refused to support Israel during his presidency, which I know he took a lot of flack from conservatives and stuff on because they are one of our oldest allies. That would also mean that Trump is only doing what Bibi Netanyahu wants, and that's also what Candace Owens is currently suggesting. But Trump, who just said they don't know what the F they're doing, and even rebuked Israel hours after the ceasefire. So does that mean, does Trump sound like a guy who's also under the thumb of Israel, or anyone for that matter?
You got to think of Trump as the mediator. Trump isn't loyal to any of them but us. Israel,
maybe the government and U.S. side of Trump. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, they have a deep state just like we do. And yes, I believe that their deep state and our deep state are one and the same.
Okay. And like I said, I won't begrudge anyone, Miranda, or anyone who has a different opinion on Israel. I personally don't even fully know. But I also know that there's enough people in the world that absolutely hate the Jewish people that these sorts of theories could, I want to stress the word could, only be to make Israel out to be an enemy. I've often thought the same thing about Russia to some degree. Now, and this is interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
With Israel, like, trying to differentiate Jews from Jews is hard, right? Like, because they all claim to be Jews, but there are evil Christians just the same as there are good Christians. So,
weeding out the good from the bad is, I mean, for Christians, I know the Bible talks about you will know them by their fruit that they bear, which, you know, again, it's sometimes hard to, that's where discernment comes in and things like that. And that's one of those situations here currently. I think discernment is a big, important factor. But I want to present this to you too, Miranda, just to get your opinion on it. I'm not trying to, like, you know, say, oh, well, you're wrong, because I'm not saying that at all. But this week, to kind of go along with this, if, you know, Trump and the United States are completely, you know, doing everything what Israel wants, like some suggest, Trump this week also called for the ridiculous witch hunt of Bibi Netanyahu to be dropped. And a lot of people think that Bibi Netanyahu is, you know, now supporting genocide against, you know, Gaza and things like that. So do we trust Trump here? Like, does Trump know Bibi Netanyahu's true intentions better than we would? You know, just put it out.
Did you know he was on trial before Trump put it out there?
Yeah, I did know of that. Now I don't know exactly all the details of it.
Okay. Okay. I didn't. Again, Trump likes to put people in the spotlight, and for a reason, you know. He doesn't always have to necessarily like you, but he wants the world to see something.
This just felt, this truth from Trump calling for the witch hunt and Bibi Netanyahu to be called felt a lot like when Trump was on trial for the 34 felonies, and we all know, we all believe here that that was complete witch hunt. It was fake and trumped up charges, no pun intended, stuff like that, which we've gotten into on many other podcasts in the past. So it felt like that. So it, to me, it was like, I don't know if I could believe it or not, but at the same time, I trust Trump's judgment.
Well, so do you know what the charges are against Bibi?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. I'd like to see that. I'm not sure of them either.
So yeah, it's definitely something we should probably look into more, just because obviously it's kind of coming out here. But yeah, I mean, it was just something I thought would be interesting to kind of broach the subject here, because it's like I've heard all these things, like Candace Owens has been saying, oh, well, they're running the United States, you know, we're just doing everything that Netanyahu wants and he's evil and all this stuff. But, or is he? I mean, it's really hard to tell, because the fog of war is real too. Like, you're going to get, you know, the United States saying one thing, Iran's going to say another, Israel's going to say another thing. It's just the way it goes. It's hard to decipher truth from fiction. And unfortunately, that's going to get harder and harder to do the more we go on here, especially with the use of AI coming into effect.
Well, and that's Trump. Trump wants to do everything by the book. He could use his presidential powers and get things done, but he wants to force a vote, get the rhinos to pick a side. He wants all this done publicly. So if Netanyahu is on trial and is found guilty, That's for the court to decide.
Right.
So Trump saying neutral or even saying nice things about him, I can see that.
And I know there's probably some people on the left going, well, see, this is just proof that Trump is for dictatorship because he's for a genocidal leader. I personally do not believe Trump would be backing a genocidal leader. I don't. No. If Israel indeed runs the United States, then Trump would be calling them out as well. So he's been calling them out with the whole, they don't know what they're. So I just don't believe that he's in their pocket. I don't.
But you got to realize how evil and sick and twisted the whoever runs the world is.
Yeah.
If Trump is trying to slowly pull back the veil, then this is kind of like the public really think.
Well, and sometimes you got to do these things in stages too, because sometimes the public aren't ready for all the information up front too. So whatever it is, I mean, Trump knows the situation better than we do because he's been involved with it for 4.5 years at this point. So he knows it better than most. So people want to say he's this or that, but at the same time, I trust his judgment more than I would most people who are like online who really don't know. They're just saying stuff sometimes for clicks too. But it's a shame too, because like people like Candace Owens and the Hodge twins and stuff like, I respected at one time. I really am in a position where I don't know how I feel about them right now. Especially Candace Owens. That's just me personally. She's been doing this sort of thing for a while.
Candace Owens and like Laura Loomer. Those two, I can't figure them out if they're certified crazy or if they're being paid by Israel.
Right. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on this, Brando, if you're not asleep?
No. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the way I'm wired and the way I think and my life experiences with shit. Like, it's easy for me to see like performative art in the sense of like, let me put it in wrestling terms. Every good villain needs a good mouthpiece, right? And there are times where Trump acts as that mouthpiece to prop up whatever. Because then people pay attention to whatever he's saying. Whether good or bad, he lets you make that decision. You can either cheer this person or you can boo this person. That's up to you. I just presented you with this. In that same aspect, that's what it seems like he's done with this Netanyahu situation. And he's like more or less a neutral party in the aspect of like, I just presented you with the facts. Whether you believe him is up to you. All I can do is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So I can give you all these facts and these context clues. It's up to you to put the puzzle together. And then believe what you want to believe from there. But when the truth comes out, just remember, I fucking told you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. So yeah, I don't know if I just thought this was a funny meme, but anyway, another AI generated image. But so yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know if all this stuff that's being said about Israel is true or not. But I know there's a lot of people who fully believe that it's true. And like I said, until I get more information on it, I'm not going to voice an opinion on it one way or the other. But at the end of the day, all I really want is peace. I'm kind of like Trump in that regard. I don't want people to die regardless. And I just hope the fighting stops. And as of right now, ceasefire is holding, and I guess we could just leave it at that for the time being. But before, I'll have to pull this up. But of course, that led to Democrats going crazy about the Iranian bombing, though. They decided to introduce articles of impeachment on Trump yet again, due to what they believe is unconstitutional actions in taking military action against Iran and taking out their nuclear capabilities. Despite the fact that we covered last week on the podcast, Trump does not need congressional approval to order military strikes. He would need a congressional approval for a declaration of war, but this was not that at all, as we discussed last week. And as of right now, there are zero hostilities taking place, all between Iran and Israel. But Kane waving Al Green didn't stop him from being the crazy kook that he is, introducing the articles of impeachment this week, and they abruptly got shut down by a vote of 344 to 79. Many on the Democratic side, including AOC and Jasmine Crockett, voted for it, but it was voted down substantially, with even 128 Democrats voting against the impeachment articles against Donald Trump. So most of that's probably because Democrats don't believe they can actually get him on this, because it's ruled by the, Republicans at this point. So
another one of these, like,
they also know you can't.
Yeah, like you can't, like,
Doesn't stop him with the political theater, though. You know
what I'm and that's all it is. Again,
yeah.
Think of it in wrestling terms. It's what they're doing is they're hamming it up to the crowd. You know, we talked about it last with the whole illegal immigrants and in that one politician who was holding the other, like holding it. You know what you're doing is wrong, but the only reason you're doing it is because cameras are there.
Yeah,
because you want people to see. So it fits
Alex
your
Padilla.
story, your narrative, and I would hope that the 79 Democrats were like, listen, this is going on far enough. Like, you know, let's stop with the bullshit, because he's done more good than bad, but you're just finding shit to nitpick because you don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I wish a lot of this shit when you see right here, it's
you all know he didn't break any laws or break the Constitution when he did this. They all know it.
It's for the cameras.
They're useless and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
that I got a feeling that is going to be used in a lot of memes and stuff.
Great
as it should, because as frustrated as he was, he's absolutely right about this stuff too. So yeah. But because of the Iranian bombings and stuff and stopping their nuclear program, Donald Trump was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice in the last week or so. Whether or not he gets it, we'll see. But let's remember, Obama got one for doing absolutely nothing, and he then proceeded to bomb kids. So Trump, on the other hand, actually deserves it, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's ended multiple wars. Israel, Iran, along with their proxies, Hamas and the Houthis. Congo and Rwanda was also ended this week. India and Pakistan, and he even prevented another war that he talked about. Serbia was ready to attack Kosovo until Trump stepped in. So, yeah, if anybody deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, it's him. But even he mentioned in one of his posts, he's probably not going to get one. But he deserves it. Yeah. I'm assuming we all agree there.
It's like, again, this performative theater bullshit, it kills me, because it's like, who are you benefiting? Like, who's this for? Well, I know who it's for.
The stupid people who don't know what the F they're talking about or what the F they're doing. Yeah.
But it's for those people. It's for those riders. It's for the ones who take up a Saturday and march for no kings when that's not what the whole fucking thing was about to begin with.
That's next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. July 4th, baby.
I can't. It's just sometimes it's idiotic.
Uh-huh.
It's more than frustrating.
Exhausting.
Yes. Yes. That's it. It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the funny thing is, most people who have a brain can see right through it. So it's but they're targeting the ones who don't. And sadly, we've got enough people in this country who don't. So yeah.
You know, can we pray for their brains to grow?
Develop? Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say finish developing.
And the funny thing is, they'll look at people like you, me. They'll look at us and say, "Oh, you're uneducated. You don't know what you're talking about."
No, I don't think so. I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got.
I'm not trying to say I know it all, but you know what? I'm open to learning more.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that's the difference. We're open to dialogue and a discussion and learning. You try to have a discussion with them, they'll either turn away, call you a name, or just won't even talk to you altogether. Mm-hmm. So, who's the one who's actually willing to have their ideas hold up to scrutiny? It's us, not you. But we're the uneducated ones, and we don't know what we're talking about. You just regurgitate, CNN talking points and expect us to believe they're fact when you don't even look in beyond that point. So
it's funny. They claim they don't want a fascist, but then they do.
They're doing the fascistic things.
Yeah, they do the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you don't want democracy to be destroyed, but then you do everything that warrants.
Mm-hmm.
And that is democracy being destroyed. You're fighting for a purpose that you don't understand, but it's a Saturday and you ain't got shit else to do.
Yeah. Donald Trump's going to kill democracy, but I'm going to vote for the candidate who didn't get a vote in a single primary because they didn't put her in one.
Also vote for the party who wants to fucking censor your right to have free speech and all this other shit. Like,
yeah. Ask conservatives how they were on X before Elon Musk bought it. I mean, shadow banned, just like what liberals are doing to conservatives now on Blue Sky.
That Blue Sky shit is hilarious. I still find that funny that he did that shit.
Because again, they don't like another opinion besides the one that they've already got.
I don't understand that echo chamber shit. Like, I never understood that. Like, I thought you would want differing opinions. That's how shit gets done. That's how ideas are formed. That's how solutions are come up with, because you have ideas that you want to bounce off of other people to get a different perspective to help you with your idea.
It's funny to me when I'm talking to a Democrat. Like I said, I'm all for civil debate as long as it stays that way, which it never seems to do somehow. But when you're talking to one of them and having a good debate or talking to them, all of a sudden they just stop replying.
Yeah.
Whether they're like, well, I'm just frustrated. No, it's most likely because you don't have a good rebuttal.
No. Or you realize partway through it, I was right and you were wrong.
I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong and I don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
You know, that's usually the way it goes, because I do my research. I hate to say it. But anyhow, it sucks because it takes a lot of effort. But at the same time, I'd rather be informed than not. And I got to be to do this show. So, yeah, anyway, speaking of being informed, 24 years after this image took place on 9/11, New Yorkers who swore to never forget have forgotten, as they have officially elected radical Muslim socialist via a primary to become the Democrat nominee to become the next mayor of New York City. His name is Zohran Mamdani, all but ensuring he will become the next mayor unless Eric Adams, who would have thought he'd be the voice of reason in the room, by the way, can somehow get reelected. New York should absolutely be ashamed of themselves because of nominating this radical Muslim socialist to be their next mayor. Yeah. Get out of New York.
If he wins, we just need to build a wall around New York City and keep it home.
Anybody ever seen Escape from New York, Escape from LA? That's what's going to happen at some point. Most likely get Snake Plissken on the job. Here's some of his platform that apparently he's running on: ending cash bail, repealing the walking while trans ban, decriminalizing sex work. So yeah, let's just make prostitution legal. Legalizing marijuana, which some people are, that's
that's not a bad one.
Right. Permit safe injection sites, restrict solitary confinement.
Wait, what?
Restrict solitary confinement.
No, the injection sites.
Permit safe injection sites.
For what? Heroin?
Yeah.
Well, they're already giving out free needles.
Shot, dude.
Have you not seen those kiosks where they give out needles for the drug habits? And enact elder parole, re-enfranchise incarcerated New Yorkers. So yeah, let's just put them right back in the system because that won't go.
See why I said build a wall around the fucking city?
Yeah. Decriminalize simple drug possession, repeal all mandatory minimum sentences, reduce maximum sentences with retroactive effect, repeal felony bump up statutes, repeal sentencing enhancements, and end cooperation with ICE. That's a big one. So yeah, let's just have all the illegals in there. That's the only way we're going to get New York to go blue when we vote next time. But we're going to talk about maybe how that may not end up being a case, though, if Trump gets his way, which he did this week. So we'll see. But yeah, this guy is no good. And he also wants to have government-controlled grocery stores, by the way, which sets the prices on groceries, which sounds good. Oh, great. We're going to have cheap, milk and all this sort of stuff. But what's going to eventually happen is it's going to drive all the other smaller businesses out of business because they can't keep up with the cheap prices. And what's going to end up happening then is they're not going to be able to meet the supply or the demand with the supply. And then we're going to have bread lines, people starving. You got to think these things.
We, New York.
Yeah, New York, not us. Yeah, we is a strong word. The United States will have cities that'll have that problem if he gets his way, or at least New York in this case. So
Starks will have that problem if he gets his way. That's crazy.
So yeah, Eric Adams is literally.
Welcome to Indiana. We're full.
Yeah. Stay out of here because you ain't bringing that here.
Don't need none of that shit here.
Absolutely. So, Any other thoughts on that? While I switch over, I know Miranda just walked away, but
Eric. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
You know how crazy that sounds.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
Sites, like what do we?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, my bad. Yeah, go ahead and shoot up.
No, isn't a fucking. That's insanity, dude.
Yeah, go ahead. You'll go ahead and just shoot up right there. So you can just. Let's not try to help you. Let's just encourage your addictive habit. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
That's not new though. There's places
definitely not
around here like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's
shot.
Yep.
I don't get it, but New York is going to New York, I suppose, which is crazy. It's mostly the city. It's not the rest of the state. The rest of the state's red for the most part. So, maybe not Albany. I don't know. But either way.
Illinois is the same way. It's just Chicago.
California is LA, San Diego, San Francisco. Outside of that, it's all red. I know. They don't vote. I get it. But all the loonies
hopefully
are
we actually have a good system to vote with by midterms.
Yeah. And if Trump continues the path he's on currently, I won't make a case later that maybe Democrats may never win another election again. We'll have to wait and see.
Speaking of Doge and all that, you're going to talk about big balls?
I won't mention him in passing. You can talk about it if you want to.
Okay.
It's wild.
I'm just gonna say he's back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Big Balls is back with Doge and the Trump administration. That's one of the other. I didn't have a chance to get into all the details of some of the stuff this week, but I thought I mentioned it toward the end.
Well, they were saying that he's going to be going through more Social Security numbers and stuff, and hopefully by midterms we can actually have a safe and secure election.
Good deal. Be happy to see that. This week also marked the 1-year anniversary of this.
Both hours, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look,
Trump's face is just.
If we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna. I'm proposing that everybody the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And once you get away with it, you get rid of.
All right, that's all I can stand to muster.
Dude, that I remember watching that. That shit was difficult to watch.
Hard to watch. And that's essentially what ruined Joe Biden's campaign and his political career. Yeah, and just think, it took that for the Democrats to finally go, yeah, he might not be well. They were willing to run him if he would have won. But then they realized, yeah, they do.
Well, you got to remember, they were using the auto pen. They had it made.
Yeah.
And they thought they were untouchable.
And because of that, they circumvented the constitutional process and installed Kamala Harris as the next nominee instead of going through a primary process where the American people get to vote on their next candidate. So Democrats should be pissed. But for whatever reason, they were like, no, it's all good. You got Bill Maher on his show going, thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for not making us out to be a big 3-ring circus over this and putting her in so we didn't have to go through all that. But yeah, he's the same man who will sit there and say, well, Trump wouldn't leave office when he January 6th, even though he left of his own accord. They're talking about, circumventing the democratic constitution or democracy, whatever Bill Maher complains about. He was all upset about that, but he had no problem with frickin' Kamala Harris being installed as the candidate. Hypocrite, dude. I hate that crap. But yeah. Did you see, by the way, Wesley Hunt, I guess, was on Bill Maher this last week, not this week, but the week before. And Bill Maher again was going off on the insurrection. And Wesley Hunt just kind of said, how do you have an insurrection without guns, you moron? He was the same guy who was telling that story with Byron Donalds about how Trump had the picture of the house. And he's like, I'm going to go bomb you. So, yeah. I don't know why Bill Maher thought that'd be a good idea to have him on his show, but he definitely put Bill in his place. It's pretty hilarious. So, yeah, it was funny. Speaking of getting put in your place, Joe Rogan apparently had Bernie Sanders on his show.
Oh, my God.
And
I cried when I seen this shit.
It's not every day that a major politician sits down with Joe Rogan. Bernie Sanders did this weekend. Now we know why most of the time Democrats skip this invitation. Bernie pushed the global warming narrative. Joe Rogan crushed him with undeniable data. Then it got worse. Rogan made Sanders instantly regret saying that we should tax the rich more because Rogan immediately asked why we'd give more money to a corrupt government, who Bernie had no answer to. Then Rogan questioned the government's monopoly on power, which left Sanders scrambling for any sort of answer. Then Joe Rogan then went on to embarrass Bernie Sanders even further when Bernie Sanders got all upset and talked about Elon Musk donating $270 million to Trump's campaign. And here's how that exchange went.
As a result of the Citizens United Supreme Court decision, I think it's 15, 16 years old, what it says is you're a billionaire. You have now the constitutional right, because your money is your freedom of expression, right? So you don't like Bernie Sanders, you can put millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into a campaign and express your view about how terrible Bernie Sanders is,
Right.
and you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are today, is that Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon, but he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. I think that's absurd that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as well.
They spent $1.5 billion just
combined
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So I'm not here just to say it's a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
Okay, nice scramble there,
You were,
Bernie.
though. If you would have never said nothing, this was going to be a you shit on Trump moment.
Right. $270 million from Elon to Trump, bad, but $1.5 billion donated to Kamala, that's good. Okay, Bernie, shut the F up. Seriously, please. But yeah, this is why Democrats don't go on these type of shows, because their narrative and ideology fall through the cracks and don't hold up to the scrutiny that they get when they go on them. You might be able to get them to go for 30 minutes on a show or whatnot, but not for an entire 3 hours like Bernie tried to do here. Here's somebody that eloquently puts it just like I'm trying to say here.
Have y'all seen Bernie Sanders on the Joe Rogan Experience? If you haven't watched it, then I highly advise you go and look at it, because it just shows that Joe Rogan was right. When it comes to talking for 3 hours straight, you can bullshit somebody on a 30-minute podcast, but for 3 hours, you're going to slip up eventually and show the world who you really are. For example, at some point during the podcast, Bernie Sanders brings up how he doesn't like the fact that Elon Musk donated to Donald Trump. He was like, Joe Rogan, I'm telling you, Elon Musk, he donated to Donald Trump. He basically donated to get this position. And then Joe Rogan was like, hold up right there. How much money was donated to the Kamala Harris campaign? And then Bernie Sanders was just like, oh, bro, I don't know. It probably was a lot of money. And then Joe Rogan was like, no, it was $1.5 billion.
Way more than Trump.
They donated $1.5 billion. You're mad at $200+ million that Elon Musk donated to the Trump campaign? They donated $1.5 billion to Kamala Harris, and she still lost by a landslide. And then he was like, oh, no, you got a good point. Look, I'm not here to argue. I'm just saying neither one should do it. Look, man, you can't bullshit people for 3 hours. You're going to slip up. That's why Kamala Harris didn't want to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. Because she knew if it was an hour, she could get away with it.
That's why every time you saw Kamala Harris, too, it was all edited to make her sound halfway eloquent at all. But because the more she stood there, she just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. You know, community is in the community. That's why we have to take care of our community, because community's needs come before the community. Shit like that. It's like, dude, and I probably was more eloquent about it than she was.
Passage of time.
Yeah, the passage of time is, when you consider our kids, the passage of time is important when it comes to the grand scheme of time. It's like, what the anyhow. but yeah, I mean, Bernie, I don't know. It's just sad, man. I'm telling you what. But yeah, I mean, this is why you can't believe him, man. You really can't. This week also we got the China deal was made. Trump and China both agree or confirmed that a trade deal has been agreed upon. This also came from China, who also confirmed it. So it's not just Donald Trump saying it. Most stock markets in Asia and Europe rose because of the news being announced. So yeah. So this is a big one, guys. China was one of the bigger markets that we had to kind of figure out with this whole tariff and trade war type thing that was been going on. But yeah, this is a big deal. Details will be forthcoming, but this is a major deal because it's between two of the world's largest markets. And many were worried because of the tariff trade war between these two countries that was going to get out of hand. This is out of pocket, by the way, but great at work there, I guess.
Wild.
No doubt about it. But yeah, so all that doom and gloom over the tariffs, by the way, tariffs are working, ladies and gentlemen. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ hit all-time highs on Friday, and the stock market is currently soaring. And contrary to belief in liberal circus too, it was not because Trump backed off his tariffs following Liberation Day. It's because the market needed a chance to correct after the tariffs were implemented. But now that they have, with tariffs still in place, with $88 billion coming into the United States in just 2 months' time, we are seeing all-time highs. By the way, if you invested in the S&P 500 in April when the so-called experts told you to panic, you'd be up 20% right now. Now, the so-called economic experts admit that they were wrong about Trump's tariffs. Here's CNN doing just that.
We're on the verge of a major market milestone. Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are on track for all-time highs. This would be the first record high for the S&P since
wild,
February.
considering the drops that you were on just talking about just what last month.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely unbelievable ride. I've never covered anything quite like this. Look at this chart.
Yeah.
This is the S&P just since this year started. And look at that epic sell-off back in March and April. That's because investors were freaking out about the president's Liberation Day tariff.
Well, yep, there you go. I mean, that, by the way, that it looks like a huge drop when you're showing just this year. But that image I just showed you previously showed, over the last 5 years. Oh, that's that drop you see at the top right of this chart, by the way. I mean, that's the big drop that you saw. But yet this entire thing, yeah, you had COVID here, but we rebounded from COVID, and then Joe Biden comes in and it's all bad. Yeah, it was going up slowly, but it was real bad down here. But that little drop right there, everybody freaked the hell out over. And we're back to higher than we were before Trump, came into office. So tariffs are working, guys. Lots of money coming
Now
in.
they
So
need
much
to
money they
get-
don't know what to do with.
Now they need to lower interest rates.
Yeah. And did you hear that? I guess he's starting to backtrack a little.
Yeah.
I guess the pressure's starting to get to old Jerome Powell. So that's good, though. If the economy gets worse, he could raise the rates again, but bring them down. They're good right now. So that way people can get these, start buying homes, things like that. Get locked at that low interest rate. It'll be good for the American people. But no, it's political with Jerome Powell. And that's why there's a lot of talk that he might, because John Thune could fire him. But so far, he's not done so, or said he wasn't going to. So maybe he's starting to feel that heat, afraid for his job. So hopefully Jerome Powell listens to Trump and finally does the right thing. We'll see what happens. This week also, apparently leftists stormed the Capitol in an insurrection. I don't know about you, but I fear for my life.
Yeah.
That scene playing out moments ago, demonstrators protesting the big, beautiful bill being arrested on Capitol Hill. The video shows protesters being removed by U.S. Capitol Police. Police have cleared the protesters out of the Capitol building, but we'll keep an eye on this just in case anything else shakes out.
So, yeah, I don't know about you, but I fear for democracy. I tell you what, it's okay when Democrats do it, but not when Republicans do it. I'll tell you that much right now. I think I saw a meme here that I was going to show. Yeah, Republicans do it. Years in prison. Democrats, complete media blackout. No one even talked about this on the news.
No.
Period. Nobody. And this happens often with Democrats. If something goes in, like Donald Trump, they don't like, they storm the Capitol and start protesting, laying out, and then Capitol Police have to get rid of them. This is during the Gaza stuff that was going on, the bottom picture here. But, no problem there. But, they're allowed to go in the Capitol. Oh, but they weren't busting windows and all this stuff. We've documented many times how that could be, bad actors and things like that. So, again, I can show you the videos where they were, people who were sent there, probably FBI or whatever, undercover deep state operatives who were doing it to incite the rioters. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. So, yeah, again, everything is not as it seems, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the deep internet here and you find these videos that they don't want you to see on the news. So yeah, let's see if I can get back here. So yeah, this week that they were obviously, protesting to Trump's big, beautiful bill. Trump's big week could get even bigger if this bill passes. The triple B, while not perfect, is still being worked on, and Trump has given a July 4th mandate 6 days from now to get it on his desk to sign by then. But it still has to pass the Senate, and Vice President J.D. Vance may have to break his first tie to get the bill done. And as we talked about a little earlier, there is a roll call that went on, I guess, last night now, since it's early morning on Sunday, and J.D. Vance had to come in there and break that tie to advance the bill to it to be voted on in the Senate. Why we need a bill to vote to see if it's going to get voted on and read, I don't know, but this is the way our government works. So yeah, he may be called in again to break the tie to advance it to Trump's desk. If that's the case, fine, but let's get this thing done. So yeah,
they're going to read it.
Yeah, we definitely want to read it. But from what we understand, there is a lot of good in this bill that we've highlighted on previous podcasts, like the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, or the tax cuts that will save most Americans $10,000 per year in take-home pay, more ICE agents and funding for border security, etc. But there's also some not so good stuff, like the bill does add to the national debt and doesn't give the states much say in AI development, which I think is that part needs to come out. But the sign of a good deal is usually when all sides are not 100% happy, though. Regardless, the Senate is going to be, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Working through the weekend to get this done. Wait, what? Pitch me. Do you mean they're actually doing something on a weekend?
Yeah.
Lord knows what the Senate and the Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough will change, though, for better or worse. I hope we'll get it signed in a week, but I'm not holding my breath, because if this thing gets changed at all, it'll go back to the House and have to be voted on again, and it could volleyball back and forth for a long time. I'm hoping it gets done like Trump wants, but we'll see.
Did I send last night a video of them putting the fencing up around the White House and the Treasury?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people
So
were like, well, yeah. Well, a lot of people thought maybe they were putting up early July 4th preparations by fencing up the White House and the Treasury, but it's a week away. I mean, usually that's done with a few days or whatever. I don't know if it's for that or not, but
yeah, there was supposed to be something going on there tonight, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Maybe they were
And I'm
fearing
just
some protests.
wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering if something, or if they think something's going to happen if they advance this bill, and that's what they were there for yesterday, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I know they've been working on it constantly. So
Well, no, I'm talking about the insurrection.
I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. I don't remember what date that was from. Let me see here.
But they were there because of the bill. They
So,
didn't
yeah,
want the
yeah.
bill passed.
Yeah,
So if they passed the bill, they already got the fencing up. Is there
Right.
going to be riots there?
And that very well may be it. Yeah. If it passes over the weekend or Monday. Yeah, you're right. That's probably it. That's a good observation. So yeah, that's probably it right there.
Question.
I thought, yeah, go ahead.
What's the point of laying on the fucking floor?
I guess it's harder to move them. I guess they do it on the streets too, which is ridiculous. But they still get drug away. Actually, you're already in good draggy position. You just got to grab a leg.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. You might roll over and put your hands behind your back already. Like, let me.
Yeah, you're already down. That's good. I
And
guess.
they have absolutely no testosterone, so I'm sure they're pretty worn out by now. He's probably trying to
probably trying to take a nap.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
So yeah.
This is so dumb. Like,
I know. I mean, this is crazy stuff. But this is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, so have you heard about this new detention center in Florida?
I just saw. Listen, last night on Liberty Den, Can Kwan broke Ash's heart because he said there's not this is AI.
Yeah, this isn't a real image, I think.
But listen, I just saw they
Okay.
have delivered alligators to alligator Alcatraz. They
Yeah.
are filling it up.
This is kind of a concept of what it could look like, I believe. I didn't think this was real either.
No, that is it.
That
it's
is?
pretty much it.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
that's the airstrip, and yes,
Right.
But
That's what I thought. The boat
it's
part of
just
it.
The alligators that you can see in the water are added.
That's outstanding. So yes, in case you don't know, Florida's new illegal alien detention center in the Everglades in Florida will be surrounded by gators and pythons and is built around an airport runway right where they can board a plane to be deported. And the closest civilization is 50 to 60 miles in all directions, covered with swamp. Entirely funded, by the way, with the money that Biden set aside to put illegals in five-star hotels. Alligator Alcatraz, as it's being called, will be ready to house illegal aliens on Tuesday next week. Construction is moving at a breakneck speed. So I thought this AI image was absolutely great.
Hey, I wonder if we can get, in a couple of years, think about it, Brandon, we could get a retired ICE alligator.
Oh, sweet.
To
kind of
put
give him with
my
the
moat.
sweet. I want to draw. You got to do that. You got to do a drawbridge. That's the way all good castles make it work. Absolutely. So I don't know if those roads or whatever have a drawbridge on them or not, but I'm sure they're heavily guarded. But it's also taking the greater gator community off the unemployment line and back to work. So Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is making the Everglades great again, ladies and gentlemen, or MEGA for short. So yeah, this is all outstanding. I don't know about you. This is a great idea. I know a lot of people are thinking this is inhumane. No, this is funny.
Yeah. You know what? As long as they follow the law once they get there, they'll be on a plane and back home before they know it.
Mm-hmm. Don't break out.
That legitimately looks. First of all, that is terrifying. Like if you're on a boat, right, and you look to your left and or right, and this is what you see,
I might fall off of it.
This is what I see when I'm eating dinner. It looks like it could be Loki.
Scraps.
We were eating pork chops tonight,
like,
and this little bastard was on my lap trying to get it.
That's
He's so bad.
But he does pop up like, hey, excuse me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
Yeah.
I told my mom, I was like, I have to pay tax to my fucking dog.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Food tax in this bitch.
Exactly.
This is a hilarious photo. That is hilarious.
Alligator Alcatraz. I heard this. I about died laughing. I was like, are you serious? I mean, can you imagine trying to get through 50 to 60 miles of swamp just to get to the nearest civilization?
Yeah, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it.
And you know what? I don't think you're going to get. Do you think the Democrats are going to go down there and try to break them out?
No. Oh, I'd pay to see it. There's your next reality show.
I'm about to say, you think they're going to go down there like they did the border?
Yeah. I love a couple of the people in the comments called it Pensacola Penitentiary, or how about Gator Gitmo? The Everglades, Gitmo North, Camp Go Away, or Detainment.
Nah,
Disneyland.
Gator Gitmo is. I think that's the best one.
Gator Gitmo. I love it. So yeah, the internet's loving it. So you say they taste like chicken, is what this Gator's asking. So yeah, there you go. So, this is great stuff. So yeah, I mean, well, I'm interested to see how this looks with the finished product and everything. I know liberals were losing their minds.
It opens Tuesday.
Yeah, they were like saying, "Oh, they're putting them in concentration camps." No.
You know who did though?
Center.
They're gonna go home before they know.
Yeah, who put
before you know it? Night or two, Gator Gitmo, and then they're back home. They'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So calm your tits, as I once said. So anyway, so yeah. Also this week, Don Lemon and Harry Sisson, or as I like to call them, so
apparently he did come out and say he is attracted to men on his live.
Harry Sisson did, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. I know there's a lot of rumors for a long time that
that's what I saw. I mean, I don't follow the dude. I actually have his name muted on my X.
Well, when your ideologies are currently the way they are, you're not going to be able to get women. So yeah, I mean, so they announced this teaming up in a sad attempt to take Republicans down. Forming a dream team, as they call it, to take down MAGA. They announced their partnership via this video. I don't know about you, but it fits pretty damn well.
Like, this is corny on a whole new level of corny.
Yeah.
Like, what were you actually trying to do?
I don't know, but they're trying to look cool. They're going to take down MAGA. This may be the name of their new show. I'm not sure, but both have been known to constantly spread lies that have provably been debunked thousands of times. Trump and MAGA have survived lawfare, assassination attempts, and misinformation for a decade now. But yeah, these two guys, they're the ones who's going to take them down, though, finally. That isn't going to stop Don Lemon and Harry Sisson, though, from being the ones to bring this movement down, though. So good luck, guys. You know, I could see it. I don't know about you, but yeah. Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
What are these people gonna do when there's nothing to bitch about? Like know. World, think about it. World peace. There's just peace and prosperity at every fucking corner of the earth. What are these people
peace and prosperity?
Yeah.
Bitch about the peace and prosperity.
There's not enough fighting going on.
Yeah.
I want to fight. I just want to fight somebody.
Yeah. That's what it is. They'll bitch about it not being there's no drama now, so now we have to manufacture.
We got to create it, yeah. Which is what we're doing anyway. I mean,
Well, yeah,
what you're doing anyway.
Now.
The United States of America is the most wealthy, most, I don't know if you want to say privileged.
Sickest.
Right word. Well, it's sick, but
Our health is the worst in the fucking world. But yet we have all this modern medicine.
Yeah.
That's where we're going wrong here. These fucking people taking their anti-anxiety medicine, wondered why they can't fucking.
We have been the most blessed nation on the planet. A lot of that, in my personal opinion, is because we were based and founded upon Christian beliefs. We put God first, which is why we've been blessed. So that right there, and the problem with that is we've been so blessed that so many people take it for granted now, and they don't understand that the rest of the world would kill just to live the way we live with the freedom that we have and the free will we have. But these people want to make it out to be like, oh, it's this horrible place to live when it's not. You know, they don't understand the privilege that they have. Even they want to go on about privilege with other people. They're privileged just to be here and breathe in the same air. I mean, to be honest, I mean, go anywhere else in the world, see how you like it. Rosie O'Donnell's figuring it out right now. Ireland's not great. Ellen DeGeneres is saying that too. It's not great over here. Okay, well, stay over there. You didn't want to live here.
Stay over there.
You did that. Well, the Supreme Court also ruled in 4 great ways this week, in my opinion. Finally, it's good to see some things getting done. Number 1, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3, banning Planned Parenthood from being funded by taxpayer dollars. So we no longer have to pay for abortions.
I didn't know this, but they actually do transition.
Transitions
drugs and
too,
shit too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. All that stuff. You want to do it? You pay it on your own dime. It's not getting federal funding either, I'm sure. If that was blocked by one of the injunctions, well, as we'll talk about in a second, it's no longer blocked. So they're not getting federal funding, I'm sure, much longer either, if they still are at all. So yeah, there you go. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see if we start to see some of these institutions close their doors. How much do you think that'll happen? Maybe.
I hope so.
That would be, yeah.
I guess then
Again,
women are going to have to start closing their legs instead of fucking using them as birth control.
Oh, but what about, rape and incest in the life of the mother, which is less than 1% of the total of cases. You cannot use that to dictate a rule, which in case the life of the mother, you can do a C-section, and most of the time, the life of the mother is no longer in jeopardy. So, not to mention, if you look at the total number of deaths from abortion compared to the Holocaust, abortion is way worse. Think of that. Than the Holocaust. We're just allowing it. Anyway, moving on. The Supreme Court in the number 2 decision they made this week ruled 6-3 on Friday that Maryland parents who have religious objections can pull their children from public school lessons using LGBTQ books. So yeah, and this sets the precedent for this to become a nationwide policy. Good. Absolutely. This is way, way beyond time to allow parents the choice to what their kids learn in school. So if I can't show them here because we get banned in a heartbeat, but a lot of these books show certain things most adults don't even know how to do.
I listened to a couple of the Senate hearings a couple years ago. Like, this stuff's been going on for years. In the first term of Trump's, some of the books that they were reading, like the embarrassment on these people's faces that had to hear it, but yet you're okay with kids hearing it?
Yeah, reading it in front of school boards and stuff. Yeah, they're reading it to them. Oh, sir, you can't talk like that as a school board meeting. Oh, but you could read this to kids. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
And the school board would get mad at them for reciting it.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part. You're uncomfortable hearing this as an adult, but you're perfectly fine with my 4-year-old hearing it.
Well, we can't ban books, so that's against the freedom of speech and all that stuff. But the books were literally teaching pornography, literally, to children. I guess they're still available to be read, but they have to get permission to do so at this point from parents. So,
well, I'll tell you what, the writers should be looked at for fucking being pedophiles.
Yeah.
Look at the Washington Post writer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pedophile.
Yep. There's it's starting to become very apparent that there's more of those than we realize. Far more. And that's a problem. A big problem. I wouldn't want if I had kids, I wouldn't want them in public schools at this point.
The problem that I have is like I'm a little bit further along because I've listened for longer to people that have tried like this. And it's just I'm just over it. I just these people need to go away.
There will be a special place in hell for all these people. I have to believe that. I have to, because otherwise there's no justice. There's no rhyme or reason. There has to be a special place for these people. And I don't want to be anywhere near it. I really don't. I feel bad for them. Well, I do, but I don't. But yeah.
But a lot of it stems from family and incest. It's just, I guess victims need to have a place to go, and they don't. Not a safe place, because they just end up in the system.
Yeah.
They let these people get real comfortable enough to write shit like this. Not only write shit like this, publish it, and then send it out to kids, and then comfortable enough to just let them read it to them in a classroom or whatever. And nobody, in the interest of what?
Well, in the interest of, not being, divisive, or, if love is love, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the interest of, we have to be accepting of everybody. No, we don't have to be accepting of everybody. No, you're doing that stuff.
Go around and talk about my straight sex life. Like, why do I have to know how gay people have sex to know that love is love?
Yeah. Yeah, and sorry, I don't agree with the gay lifestyle either. I don't agree with any of the LGBT lifestyle stuff. I mean, they may not agree with my lifestyle either, but you don't see me in school reading stuff to kids right now, do you? But kids, school. What happened to school being about reading, writing, arithmetic, stuff you need, and then they should be training them how to, or teaching them how to get jobs, balance a budget, cook, which they do a little bit in home ec, things like that. But a lot of things like, advanced algebra. Do you use that right now? I'm not saying you can't use it maybe in certain jobs, but very few people get out of high school and actually use those skills. I was never taught how to balance a budget in school. I was never taught how to do my taxes.
Which is also a shame.
I was, but I went to a country school.
We also had trades we learned in school. You don't even do that now.
No. Well, yeah, we used to have what would they call it? Vocational school or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still.
I never did it.
You can either learn to be a mechanic, electrician.
And that should come back. I mean, I had a music class, which is, again, it's a different skill.
But that's still a skill.
Yeah, it's still a skill. And a lot of times it got cut because of funding from the school or whatever. That was the one place they cut stuff. Things like that. So it's, again, I would not want my kids in public school. No doubt about it. But to kind of piggyback off of that subject, the Supreme Court number 3 ruled in favor of states' rights to require age verification to protect children from exposure to online porn, as they say, to not get in trouble on these streaming sites here. But this is something that's already been in effect in Indiana. It's already been in place. 17 states have now passed. Whoops, I guess they removed that graphic that I had pulled up here. 17 states have now passed or introduced bills requiring age verification. In my opinion, it should probably be banned in all 50 states, but that's just me. It can cause serious harm and addictions, but here's the problem with the age verification for me. I agree with it because kids, you don't want them to get access to it. Adults, I guess you could argue that it's your decision, but at the same time, kids nowadays are smart enough just to use a VPN, which will bypass all of that. So in a way, I don't know how much it's going to actually help, but at the same time, it probably needs to be banned. And I think I speak for about all men. We've all had issues with it at one point or another in our lives. We've all looked at a dirty magazine. We've all looked at a stupid video we shouldn't be looking at. And a lot of women too. I just don't think it's healthy. And I've been guilty of it just as much as anybody. I think anybody who's a red-blooded human being has had those urges. But at the same time, this
at this point, how do you know if that girl isn't being forced to do what she's doing?
Yeah.
It also just creates a false sense of reality. I mean, it does. I mean, and it can be very harmful. Like it can affect your social life and all sorts of different things. I mean, if you really get down into it. So yeah, and especially for kids, and that's what they're trying to do here. I know a lot of people saying, well, you should be free to choose what you want. Okay, I get that argument, but kids should not be allowed to see this, and hopefully that will at least hinder some of them from finding this stuff. No doubt about it. Number 4, last and not least, and so definitely most importantly. Judicial tyranny is now over in the United States, at the very least, much more difficult to litigate, and a major victory for President Trump and the office of the presidency in general. In a 6-3 decision, SCOTUS ruled against nationwide injunctions from district court judges. So this is one we've been kind of railing on here on the channel for quite a while here. The case in particular under review was Donald Trump's ban on birthright citizenship. And while the court did not rule on the overarching case of birthright citizenship, and that will be reviewed in October, this ruling temporarily puts Trump's birthright citizenship ban back into effect, setting the precedent that it will likely be allowed to continue come October, as the birthright citizenship allowance was meant at the time for babies of freed slaves, not for illegal immigrants who squat out an anchor baby so they can become a legal citizen. Thoughts on the birthright citizenship ban being allowed to continue and Trump deporting what is now, in fact, non-citizens who were born here from illegal parents, and perhaps the beginning of the end of the Democrat voter base because of it? What are your thoughts on it?
I just want people to stop breaking the laws. Just why do we have to have another law to make sure we don't break the law? Stop breaking the fucking law.
Exactly. It's not right.
Jim Carrey said it in Liar Liar. Stop breaking the law,
asshole. Great line. So yeah, which leftists love to use that against Donald Trump. Yeah, it makes me sick. It's like it's a loophole, is what it is. Yeah. That the Democrats have been exploiting and using to add illegals to the census and expand their electorate on top of everything else. If this keeps up and Trump keeps pushing his deportations, hopefully more than just the 1 million a year, as he states was the minimum this week, Democrats may never win another election. He needs to get his numbers up to Obama levels, 12 million a year. This has got to ramp up, and hopefully with the big, beautiful bill, that'll do that, because we'll have more additional funding, more ICE agents, more border security, all that stuff. That's one big reason it needs to pass. But this was a loophole that illegal immigrants were using to get their kids to be legal citizens, and then they could kind of get their parents in later on in life or whatnot, things like that too. It's not good. And the Democrats were using them as illegal voters in elections, which is why they don't want voter ID laws in their elections. It all comes back to the power. Yeah, this is not hard to understand. But and of course, with this ruling that the birthright citizenship ban is at least temporarily in effect for now until they rule in October, this led to those on the left that saying deportations of anchor babies should start right here. But they're so stupid, though. They don't understand the difference between an illegal immigrant having a baby that becomes a citizen, which is not the case anymore with this ruling, and a legal immigrant having a baby and them actually becoming a citizen. You come into the country legally, you and your baby that's born here are a citizen. If not, they're illegal and subject to deportation. Trump's family doesn't meet that criteria. Even if Ivana or Melania were illegal at one point or not, Donald is a natural born U.S. citizen. Hence, his children are also U.S. citizens, you dumb, stupid morons.
You can't win for fucking losing.
They're all safe under this law, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I believe Ivana and Melania were legal for the most part. If not, they eventually became legal. Okay. So legal, the kids, though, because Donald, they're all legal. So stop with your hatred and start learning. Jeez.
You guys are really morons.
This image has been floating all over X. It's where I pulled it. It's just,
you guys are all morons.
Yeah. Bunch of idiots, man. I swear. And we're the uneducated ones, though, right? God, I swear. But anyway, checks on the president still exist, by the way, with this injunctions being removed here. When they're legal, despite what the media and the Democrats say, the president can still be impeached and removed if he's breaking the law. It's not like the president, could just do whatever he wants. He's a dictator or a king. No. But the people elect a president, not activist judges, to govern. But the current judges were not issuing these injunctions because of the law. They were issuing them purely on political lines because they disagreed with Donald Trump. But a judge's job is not to set policy. It's to interpret and enforce the law as it is already written. Nothing more, nothing less.
Those judges should be disbarred. Like,
yeah,
I
all of them.
don't get why they're allowed to keep practicing.
Like, I don't understand when you know it's inherently wrong and you still go along with it. Even
It's
though,
like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
even though you know this isn't your job, you know what's right, you know what you should do, but yet how can you be so informed and yet make this dumbass decision? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you be so in the know and still rule against it, even though you know it's
about to get into that? Don't worry. I'm about to talk about 2 of the 3 liberal judges. No doubt about it. But yeah, in the entire 20th century, only 27 injunctions took place. And then President Trump came along, over 100 just against him. It's not because he's breaking the law. It's because they don't like him and his policy. That's all there is to it. It was getting completely out of hand. I understand challenging a president if he's potentially breaking the law, but that's not what's happening here. So much so, the numbers speak for themselves. Over 100 injunctions compared to just 22 under Joe Biden, 12 under Barack Obama, and 6 under Bush. So the president must be allowed to run the country. Here's the Department of Justice's Pam Bondi, who I've given some flack to as of late, but she's definitely earned kudos from me this week. Here she is discussing this.
Case. Let me reiterate, of the 35 of the 40 nationwide injunctions filed against this president, against his executive authority as president of the United States, 35 of them came from Maryland, D.C., Massachusetts, California, Washington. I mean, that's crazy. These 5 districts. So yes, it
all
indirectly
Democrat.
impacts us. It will be a separate decision in October. Next question.
It looked like he wanted to say the F word again.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he did.
He's just standing there and he's like swaying side to side. Like, let me say something real quick.
Yeah. But Pam Bondi came through with this one, no doubt about it. But think of it this way. I mean, out of 94, as she said here, 94 nationwide district court judges in the entire country, 35 of the 40 injunctions in Trump's second term so far have come from 5 judges. So 5 judges throughout the country in liberal states or districts are stopping the majority of the nation's democratically elected mandate for the president, Donald Trump. That's a threat to democracy. A real threat to democracy. The American people did not vote for these judges. They voted for Donald Trump. Any other thoughts on the injunctions?
Makes you wonder what these people have on the judges.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, what kind of dirt did they have on you? Because at this point, it's got to be more than just you're in their pocket. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, money's not the thing here. It's got to be.
And at this point, you've got to know you've got to know Trump's not going to not fight you. So it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So all they're doing is stalling.
That's the whole goal. Yeah. To try to run out the 4 years and then he leaves.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do. That's all there is to it. So not only have these district court judges been issuing injunctions strictly on political biases, while it's also debated whether judges on the Supreme Court vote via their political leanings, they aren't supposed to, like all judges. Again, they're there to interpret the law and enforce the law. Nothing more, nothing less. It's supposed to be by the law alone. However, we have political biases for certain with at least 2 of the 3 liberal judges on the Supreme Court. They're also doing it. These injunctions that were ruled upon were clearly in violation of the law to impede the executive branch. And how do I know that to be true? Well, liberal Justice Elena Kagan, who was among the 3 who voted against this week, she said just 3 years ago, it's wrong. And district court judges should not be allowed to interfere with the president. Here she is saying that.
It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through a normal process.
So why is she voting differently now and trying to stop that, stop them from removing that on this president. Oh, that's right. Biden was the president when she said this. It's okay when, Democrats don't have this against them, but when Republicans do, like Donald Trump in particular, we got to stop it, right? So the conservative judges, in my opinion, made the right decision. As for one of the other two liberal justices, Ketanji Brown Jackson here, you remember her. She's the Biden DEI hire who couldn't explain what a woman was because she was, quote, not a biologist during her confirmation hearing. She was appointed only because of her gender and skin color. She got obliterated on her dissent of this ruling. Amy Coney Barrett, who has not always sided with Donald Trump in the past, but is one of the conservative judges on the court, wrote simply this one sentence in regards to her argument, and she said, quote, "We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself. We observe only this: Justice Jackson decries an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary." Translation: she's too dumb to be on this court. She's all for an imperialistic rule with the judges, but not when a president does it. So, yeah, an actual quote from a SCOTUS expert who understands the current court well said, "This is an unbelievable bloodbath for Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's really a huge problem for the court to have one of 9 members essentially intellectually disabled from even adequately faking the ability to perform the job." So she is so bad at her job, she can't even fake it to make it look good. So we can officially put this debate to bed. For all you liberals who said she was hired for her qualifications and not DEI, but she's got a Harvard education, with affirmative action being a thing, that really doesn't matter though now, does it? Joe Biden explicitly picked KBJ for reasons of DEI rather than merit. Now Biden has seriously injured the highest court in the land. Such an embarrassment. So thoughts on these 2 liberal judges? Total hypocrites. Their sides
I
of
told
power.
you. You know what? Just take them down to Gator Gitmo. Treasonous bastards. They'd sell our country out in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
But they would. They were.
Well, yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. So to wrap up the show tonight, I'll just simply say it's a stunning week for MAGA. If you're a Trump supporter, you are loving it right now. Here's the weekend summary with a few things I didn't even get a chance to go in depth on. A ceasefire with Iran and Israel after nuclear facilities were destroyed, contrary to some people's reporting. Supreme Court ends a judicial coup by limiting nationwide injunctions. Trump secured 5% of GDP defense spending from every single NATO country, by the way, an amount that will equal billions of dollars for the United States. That's another big one, by the way. We're bringing in so much money, and we'll be continuing to bring in more money with more to come. It better lead to the end of the income tax, by the way, which I still think could be a potential possibility.
Dude, I cannot wait.
And then I can't wait for the Democrats to still try to figure out a reason why that's still a bad thing. If the big beautiful bill goes into effect, they said they're going to have a tax cut in there where you're going to get more like $10,000 back annually with your take-home pay. You know how much more money a week that is? For me, it's like an extra $200 a week. A week. That adds up fast, people. So yeah, that's like a big time raise. So again, there's a lot of things in that big, beautiful bill I do love. He ended the Rwanda-Congo war. Trump's executive order to send illegals to third-party countries is de facto allowed by SCOTUS via their ruling on the judicial overreach. The NASDAQ and S&P hit highs, record highs. Trump emerges victorious after a Senate attempt to rein in his Iran strikes through a war powers resolution. He does indeed have the authority as commander-in-chief. The China trade deal as well, we talked about, was agreed upon. Several food giants joined the growing list, removing artificial food dyes from their food products this week. Go ahead, Miranda. I know you want to.
I don't know why that's
it pisses me off that they're just saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to remove them by this date," some next year. Why is it that you get to just keep operating, knowingly putting dyes in that are making people sick? Your company has been doing this for how long?
There needs to be consequences too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get why they just get to go on like they never did it.
Yeah,
consequences need to be across the board.
They should be shut down until they remove it. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we always said, if you don't stop these people.
I'm saying that it makes it look like you're shutting down and now you're getting rid of all these jobs. You're not. the company is on pause. You will continue to pay your workers until you get this done. So how long ever that takes, that's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Figure it out.
My model, figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Economic experts admit defeat over Trump's tariffs. Social Security handouts saw the largest monthly decline ever after attempts to end waste, fraud, and abuse. Another thing we didn't talk about. Big Balls made a return to the Trump administration to help there as well. General Electric Appliances is moving manufacturing from China to Kentucky. Big win there. That's another.
I was wondering
big,
why they
appliance.
just didn't move back into Bloomington. I mean, their building's still empty.
Yeah, fair enough. You can. I mean, we ain't doing much with it. That job,
Yeah.
we own it now, I guess. The Pentagon began reinstating service members wrongfully discharged for refusing the COVID vaccine, and the DEI president of University of Virginia resigned after pressure from the Trump administration. So, in grand summary, it has been a great week for MAGA. I'm just happy to see results are finally starting to happen. And guess what, Democrats? He's still got 3.5 years to go. Enjoy. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen.
And all the DEI hires that get fired, maybe you guys should learn to code or something.
Yeah, that's what Biden said we should do, right? Or it was Biden.
Yeah.
Learn to code. Yeah.
So
So there you go.
We know damn well you can't go out and pick the vegetables that you're whining that you damn illegals are gonna not be able to do.
Again, which is modern day slavery.
Thank
Come on. Modern day. I mean, you pay them nothing. Oh, well, they'll do it. Yeah, because you're paying them nothing.
And then you put them on welfare, so do you make them depend on you?
Yeah.
And
Which is why they're doing it, really.
so dumb.
And drugs, so then they get hooked on that. So now
They're doing it for nothing, so you can keep them in the country.
Yes.
If they made you pay them, you wouldn't want them here. Outside of the voting thing.
If you had to pay them what you'd have to pay any normal fucking person, you wouldn't want them.
Well, they pay them more than they pay a normal person. They're paying their they're giving them $13,000 in food stamps and stuff.
The government
They're
is.
keeping
We
their
are.
yes.
But for a person who doesn't want the government assistance and just wants the job to make
They're getting
money on
screwed.
their own, you're getting screwed.
Yeah. It also hurts our wages overall.
So since they don't have to pay you a normal wage to do the work, and they're not regulated by the business bureau in the effect of like how long they can make you work, because it's all under the fucking table. So you work all these.
They don't pay
crazy
taxes
hours.
either.
Yeah. So it's like you do all this crazy work, and for all this, for the hours that you do it, and they pay you these little pittance, and you move on with your fucking day, because that money's not going to you anyway. That money's getting sent back to the cartels for your families or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And then you get to stay here for free, room and board.
Yeah.
So
it hurts all of us in the long run.
This is a win-win for them, but like we're the ones suffering in the background.
They took our germs at South Park.
Literally. It sounds like
quite literally,
but it's really the truth.
Yeah. And just a little side note too to kind of wrap the show up too. I just happened to something that just popped into my head. Everybody's talking about, well, the prices ain't coming down like you promised. Gas is much lower than it has been. I mean, it's going to take a little time. We still got to drill some more for it to really start to show at the pump, I'm sure. Hopefully things in the Middle East will stay the same as too. But I don't know about you. Have you guys gone out to eat much at all lately?
Down 3 cents in front of my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, it does come down in the $2 range, and everybody's like, "Well, he says it's down the $2 range, and some under $2." I'm going, in certain places, yes, not in California. That's a California problem. That's a taxation problem there.
Issue.
So yeah, things are coming down gradually. But I was going to ask, have you guys eaten out much at all lately, or gone like Taco Bell, McDonald's, or anything?
No.
I've noticed. Admittedly, I go to Taco Bell more than I should. It's probably one of my vices. I can try to stop doing.
Guts is fucked up.
No, this not that bad. Well, I mean, I like it, but I've noticed though that certain items like to be like $5. They're in the $4 range now.
Listen.
Well, I get a subscription from Amazon of Zevia Pop. It's usually like $23. It's down to $16.
Oh,
that I noticed that. Like,
right.
Today.
I'm just starting to notice like little things are dropping here and there. Eggs definitely come down, which we talked about before. But there's certain things that I've bought, I buy often. I've noticed occasionally, I'm like, that was not that cheap before. Slowly but surely, guys. So everybody, I know some people are like a little worried. Oh, he said he bring costs down day one. It doesn't. that's a campaign thing. It's not like it's day one.
It was on his agenda day one.
He means that he's going to start on day one, not that it's going to be finished on day one.
But they know that. They just wanted to be dicks about it. Like that's all.
They want to take it literal and say, "See, he lied." Whatever.
So when McDonald's gets back to having a legitimate 99-cent menu,
yeah, that's still probably a little ways off. But
as soon as they take the corn syrup out of their shit, I'll start.
Yeah,
I hear you there. Yeah, beef tallow fries. Go to Steak and Shake.
Man,
but anyway,
the beef tallow fries is fire, buddy.
Fire, buddy, no doubt about it. All right, well, we're coming up on 4 hours, so let's go ahead and end the show tonight. As a matter of fact, it's crazy because I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to talk about compared to some weeks, and we
legitimately though, it seems like
we had a lot to talk about. I know, right? Yeah, I'm having a good time. Yeah. So anyway, I think we'll edit just for the sake of not going too long, any more than normal. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you guys' views. If you're finding us for the very first time, please click that like, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Rumble, the whole thing. X down below. You can find us the information there at the bottom of your screen or in the description box below. So we'll be back in 3 weeks' time. This next week we're off for the 4th, and then the week after that, like I said, we're going to have a little get together at my place for wrestling. But I believe it's the.
Why don't we do a show on Sunday then?
Well, I mean, we could. Like when on the after All In. I mean, we could. I mean, that's fine with me if you guys want to.
If you want to, I don't care.
It's
the
up to you
Sunday
guys.
show didn't seem bad.
No, that's fine. All right. Well, I'll plan one for 2 weeks then, and we'll have to let Mike know. That way he knows when to come in and talk. All right. So 2 weeks time we'll come back then if that's the case. So then maybe we can get Matt in here as well. All right. Take care, guys, and as always, God bless and take care of yourselves. Later.
Good night.
Good night.